over Christmas, and then Isabel's 10 and Sophie's 9.
Okay,
but they're normally up, but the latest I ever lay in is like sort of 8, 9ish. And that's like.
Did you feel good for 11 o'clock? Did you feel like a bit like?
It felt wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
wasted a day.
Yeah, that's it. But then it put me into this cycle where I stayed up late, and then I just kept getting up late. So I've been averaging sort of like 8, 9 o'clock, which for me is like bad because normally I'm up at sort of 5, 6 o'clock normally. So I was really worried that I wouldn't make it down.
Even our baby's been waking up at 7. I mean, when you wake up, you're like, oh, "Where's baby?" Well, hopefully he's still in his cot. It's at 7 o'clock. Yeah. Oh, the dream. And then last night he decided he was not going to sleep at all. I'm like, Daddy's got to go to work. Go to sleep. Anyway, happy 2022, everybody. Hope you've all had a fantastic Christmas. Captain Miserable, did you have a nice Christmas?
I had a very good Christmas.
How was your New Year's Eve DJ set?
Yeah, it was good. Smashed it.
Did you smash it? What did the crowd...
To all but 10 people.
What, did you proper get the decks out and everything, yeah?
Get them out. He bought them.
Sure.
PA system.
He bought his own PA rig.
Come on.
Everything, yeah. I'll dust it back off at EMC.
Yeah.
And we'll reuse it. But bought all of the decks, the whole lot.
Every time I came in, I was like, what? He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to use the internet while I'm here. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm downloading 8,000 old school garage tracks for his setup.
At least he had good tunes in.
Oh, no, it's good. All of the neighbours benefited as well because it was actually like 16 degrees.
Yeah, it was warm, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
So we had quite a lot of kids running, most of which were mine, but there was a lot of about 20 kids basically running. So we had the doors to the whole. I've got like big bifold doors at the back of the house. They were all open. The kids were running around the garden and stuff, and the music was.
You nearly said around the pool area, didn't you? But you didn't want to sound like a knobhead.
No. And the neighbours benefited from the music as well.
Did they do it till 4 o'clock as well, like everybody else?
I shut the doors about 2 o'clock.
Did you?
Yeah. But no, it was good. It was good. Nice. Do you know what? It's the one time a year that you get to actually switch off, isn't it? Because if you go on holiday and everybody else is still working, isn't it? So your emails continue, the WhatsApp messages continue. But actually at Christmas, apart from that Muppet over there,
I knew that was going in one way.
It's like a badge of honour, isn't it? He sends a message on a Sunday. I'm back to work.
This is New Year's Day.
Yeah, I'm back to work asking you a question. So my response, I'm not even going to grace you with a meaningful response. Speak to you on Tuesday.
I see. When you get a text, you actually wince. You go, oh, because there are people in the group actually like, I'm back at, and it's like 8 o'clock on New Year's Day morning.
On a Sunday. I'm back to work. I'm back to work. Have you got this information?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I completely switch off as well. It's the only time I completely switch off is Christmas time. Like, I don't go on social media. Well, barely. I think I went on Facebook to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year and all that stuff with a little post, but that was it. I don't go on there. I don't post.
I lost track of days, and then I sent the message and I thought, I want the document. But it is a Sunday morning at 8 o'clock.
I actually thought to myself, before I read the message, is this a teachable moment? Should I be giving him some guidance and like go back home, go to bed, give your wife a cuddle and love your kids? It's a Sunday.
It's New
Christmas.
Year's Day.
I had a break for 3 hours.
Please, Mr. Shipman, can we have tomorrow off? No, it's New Year's Day. It's going to be lovely. We're all going back to the office. Do you want to sell or do you want to be with your family? I used to struggle with the switching off thing, especially when I had a coaching business. The people that I was involved with were kind of like, they had that like Neanderthal work ethic mindset, like, you just go out, what are your competition? Like, and there's a place for it, don't get me wrong, but it used to be like that every single day of the year. So this time it was one of the first times I was like, I can actually relax a little bit here.
Yeah,
I always had a killer tactic, so I wasn't really a killer. It's not a ninja tactic. I'm sure everyone does it all the time, but I'd compose really long emails, save them in my saved folder, and I'd send them at like midnight or something like that. So it looked like I was still up working at midnight.
Oh, did you?
I wasn't, but I just used to compose the emails.
Why didn't you compose an auto reply for when I?
Yeah, no.
That was it. He had preempted your stupidity in advance. I literally winced when I saw it. I was just at my mate's house for New Year's Day, and I was like, oh no, Ash.
Was it New Year's Day?
It was New Year's Day.
Who else lost track of days over
it? It was 8 o'clock on New Year's Day. And because not only did he ask for information, he asked for information that doesn't actually exist. There's some stuff happening in the next couple of weeks.
Ash has a unique skill set. And what that skill set is he can add to your to-do list like that. Like a blink of an eye, he's added 15 things to your to-do list.
With one message.
He's made you feel like you need to add to your list to help him. So he's like, Bosh.
Everyone works for Ashley Shipman
Yeah.
on some level. It's not just Maria. It's not just Maria.
He's like, Bosh, there you go, 15 things on your list. Have you got the answers yet?
And even if he tries to open a door, even if he tries to do something for you, inadvertently it ends up you have to do more work. So like he's very well liked amongst his peer group, and these people will say sentences like, Ash has made me so much money, I will literally do anything that Ash wants me to do. So he'll be like, oh yeah, can you jump on a call with this person or that person? But you end up then, it needs like a follow-up email or it needs like a document you've never crafted before. So even in his innocence, he can't help but just give you more work. I dread to think about the people who actually get paid to really work for Ash. Imagine, I mean, this is unpaid. Effectively, this is charity work, isn't it? For me,
community service.
It's like parental guidance.
Oh my God. Anyway, I hope everybody had a fantastic
Happy New Year,
Christmas.
and Happy New Year to you, Mr. Shipman. Sorry
Happy
about
New Year to everyone.
my first message to you on New Year's Day was I'm not even going to give you a reply. Speak to you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday. See you
didn't
next
even realise
Tuesday
it was
on every level.
Is it just me, or does people do lose track of them days?
Oh, I did this year.
Massively. What day it is? Yeah, I know the date, but what day is it?
Yeah.
The 29th. Is that a Tuesday? Is it a Wednesday?
And I did it.
Let's keep looking.
I did it when I got to Friday. I was like, oh God, it's Friday. I was like, why does that matter? I was like, oh, the week's over. But why does it matter? Like, you've done nothing. Like, don't worry about it.
Can't you tell I didn't really comprehend that when I
The concept of days just missed you, didn't it? But yeah, well, hope everybody had a nice end of 2021.
So we are live on YouTube. You can click on the link at the top of the room. No, you can't because it's not been put there. Ashley Shipman, one job. You haven't done it. Put the link at the top of the room.
You just got to refresh your screen, mate.
Oh, there you go. He's done it. Right, there we go.
Here you go. I'll give you another job today.
You can click on that link
was
at the
so
top.
quick from you.
Yeah.
That was lightning
Have
quick.
you noticed when he's been a bit crafty, he sneaks down below the screen so you can't see him.
He jumped under the desk earlier.
Nailed it.
So you can watch us. We're live on YouTube in the studio. We got a bit of we put a bit of a plan together for this week, haven't we? Or a slight bit of a plan. So today we're talking about marketing strategies for 2022. Coming up at about 8 o'clock this morning, or 7:45, 8 o'clock, something around that sort of time. We're going to be doing a bit of a workshop, so you can bring your offer to the table, what you're planning to offer to people. And,
yes.
And we're going to try and give you some marketing strategies that are going to work for this year. We've got our resident marketing specialist, Matt Wilson, here with us in the studio. So he's going to be answering your marketing problems. We've also got another regular friend to the show, and we've arranged for him to come on every single day for the next 7 days and give you his 7 biggest business lessons of 2021.
This will be good. I've been liking his content.
So he's coming on today at 7:30. Yeah, 7:30 this morning for lesson number 1. And then he's going to actually come into the studio here with us tomorrow. And then he's going to give you a different lesson every day for the next 7 days in the Winners Club at around 7:30, lasting sort of 15, 20 minutes. So that will be good. I didn't say who it was, did I?
No, you made it sound really mystical.
So we just leave it as a surprise. Oh, people will probably guess anyway. It's Mr. Rob Moore, everybody. There we go.
Awesome stuff.
Rob always gives great content, so it'd be good to hear his 7 biggest lessons that he took from last year.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of his content around that. I liked his tactic at the end of last year. Did you see what his tactic was? So he would come on and he would give like some bullet points of like content, but he'd also be repurposing it for Instagram. And then he'd put it out on a story post as well.
He was filming it.
That's right.
Yeah, wasn't he? Yeah.
Very clever.
Well, he was going live as well, yeah, because I never go live on Insta, but I've heard it does. No, I've heard it's amazing for organic reach and things like that because you get. But I've never done it. But he does it all the time.
Open up the app sometimes. I opened it up this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, I put a story on at 5:40.
Yeah, I saw that. Probably a story you shouldn't have put on, frankly. The only time where he posted something, I'm like, I shouldn't post that really.
What was I doing?
We were driving. I know the car drives itself, but other people might not know that. Oh, okay. You know, but a lot of people have like a photo and you make sure like it's at the traffic light. Actually, don't care, but you make sure you're at the traffic lights or whatever, so you can't see the speedo. Like when I can see that you're doing 47 miles an hour and everything else is a blur, I'm thinking you shouldn't really be taking the photo. But again, because the car drives itself, but I'm not sure from a legal perspective where you stand with that. But anyway, if there's any members of the Essex police,
I can't get how you can't use a mobile phone. I understand why you can't use a mobile phone while you're driving, but that Tesla car that I've got, it's got a massive like 16-inch screen in it.
It's basically got a big TV, hasn't it?
You can browse the internet whilst the car is driving, but I can't pick up my mobile phone.
Yeah, it's well strange.
I don't know, how is that allowed? I'm sure there's a disclaimer somewhere that I've ticked or said yes, that I won't browse the internet when I'm driving, but they've still given you the ability to do it.
Can you browse it? Because a lot of the functionality and like Netflix and stuff turns it off,
you can't
doesn't it?
watch Netflix or any of that stuff. The TV stuff you can't do, but you're allowed to browse the internet.
Okay. Essential items only.
Well, can't you watch like YouTube and things like that? No, I'm just wondering.
I'll try that on the way home.
Ash always finds a workaround. That's what I like about Ash. He'll always find a way.
I'll try
solving problems.
Can't you break the law a different way? Can't you just find a different way to break the law?
There must be a wormhole around here somewhere.
I would assume as soon as you try to play a video, it will probably realise that you're trying to play a video and tell you not to play the video.
I was in.
I don't know.
I was at a meeting yesterday.
Why was you? It's a bank holiday Monday. Why was you working on a Monday?
Because the guy could only do a Monday.
I'm not going to give you a meaningful answer, James.
Yes. Ashley messaged you on New Year's Day. Do you remember that? That was a Sunday, 8 o'clock. Focus your anger there. Anyway, so I walked. It was in what's it called? Berkeley Square.
Yeah.
Loads of posh cars. The only one that reacted to me walking past. Does your car do this? I walked past a Tesla. Maybe I got a bit too close to it. It just flashed all of its lights at me.
It's got something called Sentry mode on it. So it's got cameras.
Oh, was
when
it
you
going
walk past
into it?
It starts recording. When it flashes, that means it's recording.
And it tells you that you're being recorded, doesn't it?
Yeah, on the screen.
Yeah, brilliant. I was well impressed. Anyway,
You can view. It come up with an update over Christmas. You can view the CCTV. Well, it's not CCTV, but you can view the cameras of the car whilst the car's parked.
Can you?
Yeah, so I can't do it because my phone's being used for this Clubhouse room. But if I was
For this audio gold.
if I was to click on the Tesla app, you can view the camera. Not that that's any use whatsoever. Again, another great idea, but no use whatsoever.
Oh look, that guy's breaking into my car. Excuse me.
On a normal day.
Do you mind not breaking into my car, please?
I guess it's great if you're trying to catch somebody do something like surveillance or something like that. You could just park your car and then view the camera. But
It's good, isn't it? You could imagine how much stuff you could catch Ashley Shipman doing if you parked a car near him. Imagine the conversations you'd hear if you parked your car in Sentry mode near Ashley Shipman.
I'm sorry now.
Yeah, just preemptively sorry.
anyway, talking of lessons, what's your?
Don't have your kids around. That's all I'm saying.
I want a lesson that you've all learned for 2021. What did you learn?
What did I learn?
What was your biggest lesson for 2021?
I've got a lesson for 2022.
I'm asking.
4 days in and he's already learning. What was my lesson? My biggest lesson was that if I don't get out of my own way, I'm going to stay exactly where I am. I had a big realisation over Christmas. I looked at sort of like the money that we had done, and I'd been speaking to the accountant about corporation tax and other tax and VAT and stuff that maybe I hadn't had my eyes on the numbers. I was like, how painful is January going to be for me? Like, just tell me in tens. Is it going to be 10 painful? Is it going to be 20 painful?
You're very
Is it gonna
lucky.
be
There was a
30
word that they
painful?
come up with COVID called deferral.
Yeah.
So you can just defer
Thank God for that.
everything.
Yeah, I'm just going to go, yeah, COVID. I'm an idiot. COVID. So... Yeah, but I looked at like what we had done as a bit, in sort of like monetary terms, we've done really well. But in terms of, it still just takes up too much of my time. The agency takes up the minutiae, the admin takes up too much of my time. So I've got to get out of that, which is really uncomfortable because that's not the stuff that I like doing. I'll just outwork a problem normally, but I need to work smart, not hard. And do you know where I learned that lesson? From the Bulletproof Business Podcast, hosted by Paul Apple Crumble.
Yeah, I bet.
It's a good podcast, that.
Pretty easy one to fix, though, which is good. So you got plans and stuff in place to sort it out this year?
Yeah, I'm going to let Paul do it.
That's my way.
My
Paul's to-do list just got bigger.
Yeah. And if I need more sales, I'm going to hand it over to the sales dog, and then the extra workload that adds, I'm going to hand that. So my tactic here, if I step out,
Is to pivot.
sales,
Yeah.
chaos, work, sorting it out. So that's the triangle. I'm the glamour.
The puppeteer. Like you just,
I'm the puppeteer. Yeah, thanks, mate.
I can help with marketing. Get some
There
more
you
leads
go.
in there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll feed him.
We'll make sure Paul's to-do list, when it's going down a little bit, Matt, turn the market on. I get some more sales, and then James just makes sure it gets done.
Chilled out summers in your pool are over, mate.
What was yours, Matt?
What was mine? In honesty, my mine was to do with health, really, and it was the importance of energy. like for me, I started off the year really, really well, pretty much how I was going the year before, but I had this slump leading up to EMC. Very stressful time that was, because we found out we were going to do it so late. I sacrificed things like gym, my morning run, things like that, and I've literally, I could physically notice the difference in my performance and my output at work, at home, everything, just because I didn't have that energy in the morning. And like even towards the end of this year as well, I just really noticed it. If I don't have that morning routine where I get up and do those things and eat cleanish and run and move in the morning and get that done and out of the way, my energy is just 50% of what it could be.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy as well, isn't it? Because if you don't do the run, then you eat shit because you haven't trained very well.
That's how my mindset is. Like some people can do it. I'm all in or all out. So if I miss a workout, that's my excuse not to eat well. And then I don't eat well, so then I don't want to go to the gym because I haven't eaten well. It's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm really, really self-aware. So I could notice, Jesus, the output that's coming out, the stuff that I'm putting out to my potential market, the value that I'm adding to the marketplace just goes doof and dives. And it really started to spike back up towards the end of the year because I just started to sort my routine out again. So this year, I'm just not letting go of that. I'm really going to dial down on that. One of my biggest goals this year, my biggest goals this year are a lot personal, more than business, really. I've got some really good business goals, but the big ones I'm going to focus on are health and time with family. Just better quality time with family this year, definitely. You know, more things. We've like made a little pacts between us because I'm a football coach now. I got roped into football coaching in August.
That is a thankless task.
Oh, that is horrible. It's a nightmare.
It is for kids, honestly, mate. It's a thankless task.
How did you become a chairman of a football club over the week?
That's a secret. Yeah, but I got roped into that in August, and that's actually really rewarding. You know, it's reward. Yeah, you don't get no thanks for it. It destroys your weekends. My son's team, yeah.
So what? They're 15.
They're 15, yeah. And they weren't doing.
Coach them at quite a good level then. Do the stuff you tend to do at that.
It's a good level, and like literally all I needed to do. I know football. I'm not that good at it because I've played rugby all my life. But I know communication. I know how to communicate and build rapport, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And the response I've got from the kids is like it's amazing actually. You know, like the other coach that was there before, he literally wouldn't have a clue. He was talking to them at half time and none of them were even listening. But he didn't even notice that none of them were listening. And he didn't do anything to grab their attention to get them to listen. He didn't give them any clear direction, you know. And I've gone in and changed that stuff.
What did you give him a lead magnet or something?
I just gave him a lead magnet, yeah. I said, go to this
website now.
Go to this page and opt in.
Coaching.
If you get in the top corner, you get a free bonus.
Yeah. It's mainly mindset stuff, really, with them. Mindset stuff, a little bit of fitness, but mainly like discipline as well. Like, you know, I don't let them get away with anything. But the thing is that we haven't lost yet. We're literally undefeated since I've been there. We drew one game. That's it. We drew one game because I set them a goal in pre-season. They never had a goal before. So, you know, I think they lost roughly around half their games last season. I said, you know, let's set a goal when we was doing fitness pre-season. Let's set a goal. You know, what do we want to achieve? I think, because they're really talented, the team's really good. I said, let's set a goal. Let's win the league and let's not lose a game. And they were sort of like, well, how are we going to do that? Well, we'll worry about that in a minute, but that's what we want to do. And then we sort of set out a plan to get there and stuff.
Love it.
And what's funny is like Emily, because Emily's always there on the sideline. Apparently, all the kids, they're watching my videos. Like lots of them follow me now, and they're all watching. And the mums are going up to Emily, and they're like, "My son is in love with your other half." Like, it's like, honestly, all he does is watch the videos. All he says is he won't even come training if Matt's not going to be there. You know, things like that. And to hear those little things, I'm like, I'm getting through to them, and you know you're getting through to them, although they would never tell you.
Yeah,
you know, because of the feedback the mums are giving Emily, like you know you're getting through, and that's actually like really. That's been really rewarding. But that was pretty much it, really. That's all I sort of,
committed
to family-wise. So what me and Emily have said is like every single weekend now, either a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, we're going to take the kid out, just go for a walk. Go for a walk anywhere. We'll pick because we're part of the National Trust, you know, so we go to all of those like lovely little parks and places like that. But just let's start taking advantage of that because we've never fucking used it really.
Yeah.
So we're going to start taking them out. So that's my biggest one is looking after myself more and then and spending more good time with them.
Do you think you haven't haven't focused too much on the business stuff because the business is at a stage now where it's not ticking over in a bad way, but it can like run itself without your needing to be hands-on with it so much?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the goals that we've put in place for that don't involve me as much.
Right.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Those goals do. That's all me. Like, me is me, obviously, and the family is me. Now, I can't delegate that to my team. Ads, go and spend some time with my kids for me, bro. On this Saturday. Can you take them out for a walk for me?
Go to National Park.
Just pretend to be me. So, yeah.
Your team turning up in ridiculously tight shorts.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Who's this weird geezer?
Yeah, so that was me for last year and this year.
I can't wait for
Shippers?
Come on, shippers.
How to work more than 7 days a week. No, it's actually just to reduce that and be more effective. Because the thing is, it's like I like to work, and sometimes I work for work's sake, just to get things done, to get prepared, which you've probably all experienced.
Yeah. Do you? Yeah, I suppose maybe.
Feel like you want to be busy.
I feel like I will find something to do.
Yeah, I've been there. That's hard, yeah.
And when you actually have reality check, I want to reduce my hours of 7 days a week, serious hours, to actually make it so more effective,
efficient.
Yeah, and efficient.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what am I doing today? That's all I'm doing today. Once that's complete, that's done. I'm out. But what I will do is I'll think, oh, let's get on top of tomorrow. But then it's like it's a vicious cycle. And another thing that I actually want to make sure is that this year is like I see a video or a reel. It's like about moving correctly. Like I'm 0 to 100 real quick, and I think, oh look, I can make this work. Like building my wings on the way down, and now I just think like get it aligned, and last year actually stepping back and like use all experience, like releasing the control within the business was very hard.
Super uncomfortable, isn't it?
It's a skill. It's actually a skill you have to learn.
Yeah.
I think these two heard me moaning about the whole situation, and it was like, but once it's done, you can always. It's not ever going to be perfect. You can always improve it, and then you actually see the rewards, and it's like that's gonna make me more effective. And it's just making sure I do things that keep my, like, as you said, your energy high. Like, so if it's a task that's going to drain me, like, it might not drain other people, but it might drain me, yeah? So I need to be, conscious of that and make sure it's passed to the person that ain't going to drain within the company, within the team. Because, I want to make sure I'm effective, my momentum, my energy just stays high, and I'm just flying. Because that's, I think when you're in that peak performance phase of just like, that's going right, that's going right, that's going right. You become a steam train. Nothing's stopping you. That is it. And there's loads of things that I could have got up and ready earlier, but it wasn't correct. So now this is why I want to make sure I move correctly. Not so much fast, because I always wanted to move fast and experience for a year. Paul looked at the business and was just like, mate, your ops are just gonna suffer. And there was the taps turned on in the business, and you just see cracks. And that is what I think people need to do, is like learn delegation, but also learn how to release the control, because it's horrible.
Yeah.
If you haven't been there, like I was sort of in the chat, what do I do now? Like they're not getting it right. They're not getting it right, but I would do this. And it's like you have to let them fail fast. Get it wrong fast so you can tweak it, show them. But if you're always on top of them, managing them, they're never going to understand their mistakes. So
a big thing that I did that made that a bit easier was find something else actually productive that you need to do, that you can do. Because this is what happens, like psychologically, what's going on with you is you think, right, if I give this job away, then when they're doing that, I've got nothing to do. So what you've got to do is you've got to look at your business and say, right, because the business don't need me to do this anymore. This person can do that. What does the business need me to do? Like for me, I'm the one that's got to create content.
Yep.
I've got to get in front of the camera. I've got to film ads. I've got to come up with lead magnets. I've got to come up with offers and things that we can sell. That's where. So when you give something away, if you fill it with something that your business does need you for, it's a lot easier to release it, because a big part of the thing that holds you back sometimes is the worry that you're going to be sitting around. Well,
don't know what to do next,
sort of thing. You know.
Yeah, that's why I want to make sure that I build momentum in what I'm doing and doing things I love. Because the thing is, it's like I love doing business. Like I love new business. I love like connecting with people and just moving things, and that's where I'm going to stay. Like just make sure I'm just in that sales environment, and anyone who's been in the sales environment and knows.
Yeah.
Like if that's where you perform, if you perform in back office, wherever you perform, stay there, and that's. Yeah, I'll get a buzz and a high.
Honestly, like what Matt said, you've got to put those, like I said to you, those big personal blocks of time have got to go in your diary and be sacrosanct. Like, how many bank holidays do we get a year?
Yeah.
How many?
6, 8,
5, 6. Yeah.
So that's 6 occasions that you can wipe out the whole day to spend with your family. And I know you've already fucked it up for 2022 because you've lost 2 or 3 of them. Like, being serious.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, so...
Well, on the first day of the year, you were messaging these guys.
Yeah, so you're never going to get that time back, right? So,
Yeah, no.
So they're blocks of time that you can block out of your diary and say, that is sacrosanct family time. I do nothing else.
Can you try and answer my argument? Like, this ain't under mine. Like, I'm like, right, like in December, I started planning for the new year. On the 1st, I was like, right, I'm getting ahead.
Yeah, but if you didn't get ahead, what's going to happen? On the 2nd, what is going to happen? Someone going to wake up, come into your room with a baseball bat and smack you over the head? They're not going to, are they?
I don't know. There's something in me about being just productive and going. Like I don't know if that's. I'm trying to get the answer. Like,
I get that, but on the flip side of that, you've got a lovely wife and 2 kids sat at home going, hang on a second, it was a couple of days ago, Daddy was here playing Duplo blocks,
Like
and now he's
if
fucked
you
off.
work 7, this is the reality, right? If you work 7 days a week for an extended period of time, the only person that's going to care about you is your divorce lawyer or your relationship counsellor. That is the sheer reality of it, because you cannot work 7 days a week, neglect the other side. Like, you'll have something that's got a really good upside, and with every upside there's a downside,
yeah.
right? So you chuck all your time into work, you become really, really busy with work. Work goes really well. Personal relationships suffer. That is like
no,
that.
100%.
Or your health or your fitness.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's no alternative argument to that. That is fact of what
Yeah.
happens. So that's why this big word balance comes in. You've got to balance it out. The only way you can do that is protect your time and say, right, that day, that weekly, that day, I'm not going to work, or for those 4 hours, I'm not going to work, or for that time, I'm not going to work.
Well, we decided that there'll be 1 weekday and 1 weekend.
Every night, you text. You both know. You've witnessed this. If you message me between 7 p.m. and 10:30, you will not get a response, because in my head, my phone goes down. That time is protected. So I walk in my house. That time is protected. I do the bath time with the kids. I'll have dinner. I'll spend time with Joe, and I'll do what I've got to do. But that time is some. Yes, if there was an emergency, of course I'm going to pick the phone up and I'm going to. But generally, like a WhatsApp message or an email or stuff like that, you've joked before. You'll get a response from me at 11 o'clock at night, because that outside of that protected time is finished. I'll reply to the group or something. You've got to do that. If you don't do that, you'll just end up in a tether.
Yeah, and that's what happens, relationships and health. You don't realise how far you've let it slide until it's like
Too
till
late.
it's late.
Yeah, no,
Till it's late. Maybe not too late, but like with your health, like you don't realise until actually, and a lot of people do it, smash over Christmas. Oh, I'll start the new year, How many of us, myself included, have got like a little bit of an extra tyre now? You've got to work off. So you're going to be working till mid-Feb to undo the damage that you didn't really need to do in December, because you psychologically told yourself you're going to do it.
What, with your health, you mean?
With your health.
Oh, yeah. But, I think
And the same thing with relationships.
For a little fella, I think I put on about a stone over Christmas.
2 stone for me. I told you earlier. 2 stone. No joke, bro. I've put on 2 stone.
With the athlete over here, £1.
Decent.
I did a
Well
kilo.
done, mate.
I'm pissed off about that, though.
Really? Can't, man. That's good. That's good for Christmas.
Did you want to
though.
put on more?
I wanted to maintain. I guess £1 I've maintained, haven't I? Give a week.
Yeah. A little bit of water weight. Bailey's weight. That'll come straight off.
You're
mate.
25% Baileys at the moment, aren't you?
I'm a walking bottle of Bailey's.
What was your number 1 lesson from 2021?
Yeah, what's yours, Paul?
Find some new business partners.
Unlucky. Failing that?
No. Do you know what? It's not really a lesson, but I looked back over my around about November time, I started doing my goals document for this year, and I looked back over my one from last year, and there was so much I didn't do last year because I got bamboozled and sidetracked a little bit by this, by Clubhouse and the Winners Club. So I'm going to stay on track a little bit more. So I've got to find a way, or I will find a way of still fitting in the Clubhouse and the stuff that we're doing here with what we're building here, and achieving my own goals, because I sacrificed my own goals for the benefit of this.
I noticed that as well. I've when I worked with James Sinclair, he had this thing where every year he would write his top sort of 20, 25 goals, and he'd print them out and he'd put them in a gold frame. And when I first saw him do it, I was like, is that going to make much of an impact? But he then puts it next to his computer. So every day, this thing is in your eyesight. This thing is always there. And he used to put things like he was going to buy like another farm park, he was going to buy 5 daycare nurseries and all this sort of stuff. And I saw him achieve these goals, just like tick them off, because they're literally there in front of him. And it wasn't until I got to the end of till I was doing my goals in December when I realised that actually a lot of the stuff that I hadn't done was because of the Clubhouse stuff.
Did you just see that? That's like the pot kettle, isn't it? Honestly,
I got looked at, and then I realised
Bailey's Bob was breathing.
The Velociraptor was breathing down the microphone.
Everyone was looking at me, and I'm thinking, I'm not even near the mic.
But it is usually you, and you're guilty of it normally. But you was the one to tell Matt, move away from the mic. That was classic.
Cheers, Ash. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, he's really quick on that, isn't he? He's quick on that. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? You're just going to have to, again, sort of protect your time in certain instances?
No, I'm going to go back to, I for years, I had very simple, I'd set 3 targets for the month. That would break down to 3 targets for the week, 3 targets per day. I just work in threes. But that sort of all got lost towards, from when we probably done the first live show, really. So when was that? March time?
Well, the opportunity just sort of appeared out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah,
like needed to be, okay.
From that, this basically became, being the unelected chairman of Used To became like a full-time role for me. So
I bet that would really, really felt like time well spent when you were spinning a deck on New Year's Eve, thinking, what have I achieved this year? And not about shipment.
Long term though, it'll be worth it. The work you put, all the work that you put in, all those foundations.
Keep buttering them up for us.
But the problem is, I'm involved in a lot of things, and I can't let those other things sacrifice because of it. So I just need to readjust, and I either need to find somebody else and bring somebody else in behind me to focus on the other stuff that I'm doing that I don't necessarily doesn't need me 100%. You know, like the stuff here, the building stuff and stuff like that. There's still levels to get to with that somebody else could probably come in and do that, and I just need to rebalance, but go back to basics really for me. Go back to basics of just,
it's always good when you go back to basics.
I'd stop it. Something would come up with us here, and something, you know, we're our own worst enemies.
The next thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Our own worst enemies.
That scale up week that came out of nowhere, and then all the marketing agencies needed consultancy about Clubhouse, and that came out of nowhere, and then EMC and all the opportunity. Like it's all good stuff, isn't it? It's all opportunities that you sort of take in the moment, but there is always that. If you do one thing, you can't do something else.
There's a downside. The upside was that grew. Downside was I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve personally in other goals.
I was talking to one of my friends.
Overall happy though, yeah. Overall happy. Overall good result.
Ask me again in 12 months.
I was talking to one of my friends about that. About like, so you said like you didn't. So some of your personal goals and your other goals got a little bit sacrificed, and he's watched the Winners Club and things like that, and he was like, what I've seen with you guys and what you just said, the foundation. What we done, we just dug deep to make a solid foundation for what this year can bring to us now. Like, because the work got put in, so it wasn't an instant gratitude result that we got last year, but then the effect of what we put in last year, non-stop, has opened a lot of doors this year.
I think it's going to pay off for you this year, Paul. I think all of that time that you've invested into myself and Ashley, I think there's going to be you're going to enjoy a real return on your investment.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not about wanting a financial return.
I'm not saying you're going to get a financial return. You definitely won't.
The bits that I've sacrificed, like I wanted to do a lot more flying, and I wanted to do a lot more.
I knew you were thinking flying. You were thinking, can I swear I'm saying it?
I wanted to do a lot more qualifications added to my license. So there was a night rating, there was bad weather, there was stuff that was going to get added on that I wanted to do that would have taken a lot of time. So that's just a personal goal. So that's completely unbusiness related. It's a personal goal that was sacrificed because of time spent elsewhere. So I value time really highly. So that personal time that I was talking to you about, that's the stuff that I didn't let it affect my family time, but
let it affect your time.
Yeah, so layer 1 was the family blocks that I put in the diary. Layer 2 was like the personal hobbies and stuff. I let it all affect that.
Yeah.
So that was the stuff that got wiped out the diary to accommodate the stuff that we was doing. So,
and do you find that this is an interesting one? Do you find that that's the layer of stuff that you will let get affected? So there'll be like level 1 at home, like you won't, 7 till 10, bath time, book, bed, family dinner. Nothing comes in, other than like crisis emergencies. Have you got the same sort of thing in business? Like there'll be certain stuff that you will have to focus on, so you won't let that slide either. So does it always when you have to make sacrifices, does it dig into your personal?
No, two
wants?
things. The project here that's in the building, the workspace company I've got, because that's so self-sufficient and will just tick over on autopilot.
It allowed you the time almost.
There was big goals, quite lofty goals that I wanted to do last year with this place, but I didn't get there anywhere near them, didn't touch it anywhere, didn't get anywhere near them because that was time that I was just like, that can wait, and so that was sacrificed, and then equally the sort of personal hobby time was sacrificed. So they were the two that were sacrificed. Put it in context, I flew last year. I looked back over my logs that you get. I flew for 16 hours for the whole of the entire year, which is really low, really low. Yeah.
How many hours do you have to do to get your license?
No, you just have to fly once every 42 days from an insurance perspective.
Oh, okay.
So if you do that, you're covered on all the sort of
16 hours total, and we went into that meeting, so that must have been 4 or 5 of the 16.
Yeah. So it was like,
was there any detours because of the
So I was just doing the statutory requirement of flying once a month for an hour, but that's
to tick the box.
Yeah, but that's not why I do it. So yeah, so that was a big eye opener to me.
So if we set a goal that we could buy a 4-man plane, and then you could do your coaching, your I don't want to say counselling, but let's call it counselling. Your counselling of myself and Ashley in a flight, and if maybe we get Ash certified as like a co-pilot, like would that tick the boxes? If the Winners Club buys you a plane,
but I need a
I've got
booster
to keep
seat.
them engaged here.
I need a booster seat, so I can have the same.
So you can see the horizon.
So I can see the same eye level as Paul.
I'm not sure spending more time with you two is the answer.
Okay, you take your time to think about it. I reckon. No.
Do you know what return you're going to get from me this year? Just pure love. Like I'm literally just going to...
You see that post I put out yesterday with the love heart around it? I was so proud when I found that.
I'm just going to shower Paul
I was
with
so
love.
pleased when I found that. Awesome stuff. Right, we've got our guest coming. What time is he coming? Half 7? Half past. All right. Before we get to that point then, should we... let's have some lessons from you, gang, listening. I'd love to hear what is your number one lesson that you've picked up for 2021 that you're going to be bringing in to 2022. So if you'd like to, as if you're listening anywhere else, this might make little to no sense, but if you're listening live on Clubhouse, as always, gang, good to be back with you. Flash your mic if you'd love to share what is your number one lesson that you picked up in the year of 2021 that you're going to be using moving forward into 2022. Give us a flash of the mics. Beiju, here he is. Is he somewhere quiet? Is he in a gym? Is he next to the M4? Hello. Hello. This is clear. This is clear and crisp sounding.
Sharon's got him new headphones.
I'm actually. It's so serene. I'm walking.
Clear birds.
It's like Dolby Atmos. It's like Dolby Atmos.
Yeah, and it's really quiet. Everybody's always still lying in. Like Matt said, I did the same thing, lying in till 8-9 o'clock, which I've not done since many years. But I completely switched off, like a lot of you guys said. My lesson, same as you, James, is what I've learned. I listen to everybody's in Clubhouse. Is that wherever we are in our business, we all have the same things that stops us. We get in our own way. We procrastinate. We don't focus on the non-negotiables. For me, it's getting out of my own way. And a lot of things that you talked about around, the minutiae. And I think what Matt said to Ashley was really, really powerful, that we get busy. Let's find things that business needs. Listen, like Pete Cummins said once, listen to your business. So what does your business say that it needs you to do, and let go of the rest of it? So for me, it's like, what do I need? What does my business need from me? What does a business else need that other people can do? So getting out of my own way. So that's the big lesson for me for going into 2022 and carry on the non-negotiables around physical fitness and gym and all the rest of it. So, and listen, glad to hear you guys back. It's been, in fact, you know, you were planning to come in between, but then you took a complete you took a break, didn't you? You were going to come back on.
Yeah, we were coming. We were coming in. To be fair, if it wasn't for Spencer Lodge, we'd lined up. We'd been trying to get Spencer to come into the studio when he's in. He comes to London sort of every couple of months, and when he was in London, we've been trying to line him up. He was due to come in on the Wednesday the 29th, and then he got COVID and had to isolate in Dubai, so he didn't come in. So we decided to not bother.
No, it was good because it's really weird because that first, I think 27, 28th, we all got, some have got on. Where's breakfast? What's going on? And then obviously put notes that we're going to come back on the second. I think it was great for all of us because for me it was like, okay, I didn't have the pressure I really wanted to take the time off. And it gave me that window. And I think what you're saying about, when you talk about the 7 days and the relationship stuff, is like it's what you're doing it for. Yeah, we want to generate income. We want to generate this thing, but we're doing it for because if the most important people in our relationships are family and our partners and our children, that's the reason you're doing it. I love what Matt's saying. He's dedicated his time to football on the weekend. I used to do a lot of that with my kids. So yeah, no, for me, it's getting out my own way. Into business, what does my business need from me, and delegating and the rest of it. So yeah, great to be back, guys, and looking forward to 2022.
Fantastic, and happy New Year to you.
And to you, Bill, and to you, Paul, and happy New Year to everybody on this stage. What we got? Nearly 500 people come through this room. Fantastic.
Does it sound weird that Beiju sounds very, very clear?
It's like high definition audio for Beiju.
Is it just me? Like it's.
Well, I don't know what. It's the same headphones. It's really quiet at the moment. I'll be at the gym tomorrow morning, so might not be,
back in the nightclub.
Yeah, back in the nightclub. Back in the nightclub tomorrow morning. But yeah.
Because the thing is, normally we can't really always hear because there's normally like a dustman going past.
Literally, it's just serene. People aren't out and about. Maybe you're just Anyway, so it's a new intent. So you put it out there. It's happened.
Yeah, lovely.
So much clearer.
Fantastic.
Nice one, guys. Thanks, guys.
Good stuff, Beiju. Right, flash your mics, guys. Who wants to come in? I'm going to go to Danita. Danita, good morning and happy New Year to you.
Good morning and happy New Year to all of you guys as well. So loved what you guys were saying, and for me, I'm going to have to thank Beiju for this somewhat as well. But for 2021, and I was talking to Matt about this the last time I saw him about a month ago, and that was that my energy and my own just looking after myself, the whole of 2021 I had pretty much let that go, and I didn't realize how much it was impacting my business and my ability to actually think creatively and think especially, 2021 was actually a really tough year for me. It was more tough than 2020, actually. So 2021, I went through more of a roller coaster ride, but I realized that my energy a lot of the time wasn't in the right place. So going into 2022, I have signed up with Beiju's fitness coach, but there's no like photos to be seen or shared, just so you know. But my health and my energy is going to take priority in order for my business to grow. It's kind of connected. The two are connected. So those two are going to be my own personal kind of health and fitness is going to be number one. And then hopefully at some point I might meet a man through that as well. So there you go. But yeah, my personal energy is going to be the number one thing because that's going to have an impact on my business. So not letting the business go, because I think the two are definitely intrinsically attached, because when you feel more energized, you can just think clearly, you just have clarity around that. And part of that was actually over the Christmas period. I did a whole decluttering of my house, like literally my office, my environment, my kitchen, my living room, like literally just threw stuff away that I had no idea was like I was even holding on to. So yeah, I did a massive big declutter, and that already put me in the right sort of mode. So yeah, and clearly it must have done because I'm actually here this morning.
I wanted to say that. I
knew you were going to say that, actually.
Dee's not an early bird. She's more of a night owl.
Yeah, a night out or a night out?
night owl. But I always nudge her to come on in the morning.
But it's nice to see you and nice picture.
We should expect a new photo shoot in a few months' time then, Danita. There we go.
No photo shoot. Definitely said no to that. But you will definitely see a new me next time you see me.
Brilliant. Good stuff, and great to see you so early in the morning. Right, who's next? Flash your mics, guys. We've got time for a couple. What's the time? Yeah, we've got time for a couple more. I'm going to go to... we'll go to... mine's gone scrambled down, scroll down. We'll go...
Oh, Shakir's flashing. Up the top, I wonder what happened to her.
We'll go Lauren, and then we'll go Lucienne, then we'll go Sharon and Janetta if we've got time. So, Lauren...
Good morning and happy new year to everybody.
Morning, Lauren.
Morning. Do you know what? I really laughed this morning because I think, Matt, did I message you on the 1st?
Yeah, you did. I think you've messaged me every single day of the holidays, though.
It's like me to Paul.
Just to put that into context, it's to do with work.
Not just sliding into his DMs.
Lauren's in one of our programs. She's doing very, very well. She likes to tell me every day.
Can I just put it out there here? Actually, Matt, I'm messaging your team. You happen to be on the same chat.
Okay. Sometimes.
Fair point.
Sometimes.
But I did actually message you on the Okay, on that note, I love listening to what everyone's saying. Obviously, health and well-being to me is always top of the list. And, it's supposed to always be the top of the list, and it does slide, especially for my mental health. And things that I've reflected on for 2021 and looking at, revenue and how everything works collectively. Essentialism, absolutely. So, similar to what Beju was saying, it's all about, doing the essentials and choosing the priority, and being very strategic with it. Not just what I feel like is the most important thing, but actually, looking back, I can actually see specific points of the year where I made specific decisions to realign and to be specific in what I'm doing, everything with intention, that has been such a high performing time. So that it really is. It's not just how I feel, but it's proven in my businesses. And that is exactly what I'm going to make sure that I do every single month moving forward, is realign to that essentialism and throw away anything that is, when you do Eisenhower and you can defer, to delegate or delete, I'm going to do a lot more deleting. I'm going to throw out a lot of things that I've been doing for a very long time that just are not performing and giving me any increase in revenue or satisfaction in work. So essentialism is my word of 2022, and that is learnt from strategic lessons of 2021. That's me.
Awesome stuff.
Me and you merged into the same
Touch
person.
wood. You can't talk till I say yes. James Burt is quiet, everyone. I've got it.
It will not last for very long. It will not last. Quiet and James, 2 words that go together.
And is it Lauren? Is it officially your first day back today? Because I've heard you got lots of leads to get through apparently.
No, we had so many leads that I opened the wellness centre yesterday for an open day to get people just to come in as and when they wanted, because I've got 100 leads in a few days now. So did
you do the thing where you get them to actually schedule a time straight away? Or sorry, I think the strategy was you get your team to call them once they've opted in to actually schedule a time to come in. Yeah.
So we launched the offer on the 29th, and on the 30th I made a few calls, and every single one of them made an appointed time to come in for a tour and to sign up for their membership. And then there were so many coming through. We did a post, just one story on Instagram, and said, we're having an open day, so if you've applied, well, you're welcome to come down and just come in. And we had, I think, so we had 9 people off the cuff come in yesterday, plus the appointed times that people wanted to come in yesterday because they're back to work today. They wanted to get it done before. So no, today is not my first day back.
You got 70 odd now, haven't you? 70 odd leads.
Yeah, over 100 we've got in the pot now. So we're back on phone. the rest of them today. It's worried me a little because it's open until the 14th of Jan. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to. We've had to rework things. Yesterday we wrote the class timetable and everything because I think we're going to have more people than we expected, which is amazing. So thank you ever so much, Mr. Matt Wilson.
Matty Wilson's marketing is so good, you'll have to go back to work early. That's a good tagline for you. Do that in a video.
You have to turn your marketing off early.
Yeah.
Do you want to be able to turn your market off early and close your offers quicker? That's your new course.
Lucienne, good morning and Happy New Year to you.
She had some big news, Lucienne, didn't
Morning,
she?
Lucienne.
Did you see Lucienne's big news over Christmas? Come on, tell us all. Tell us all. I know you weren't going to share it publicly, but you got to now.
I did. I ended up having to because the cat got out the bag. Yeah, I'm engaged to be married.
Oh, Lucienne got engaged. Shakia.
Did you receive your invite?
Yeah, I have.
Who'd do that? Who would do that? Who would marry me? Honestly, I did
think that. I did think that for a minute.
It really
Welcome back.
confuses me. But there you go. Hello, it's so lovely to hear you all. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year 2022. Yeah, so it's pretty much started with an engagement, which was a bit of a shock. And I've met a lot of people over Christmas who I haven't seen for ages, for a really long time. I don't know if any of you lot are the same, you know, if you've managed to catch up with friends that I've neglected for a good few months at the end of this year. And it was so great to be able to, you know, get my arms around them and have a good hug and have a drink with people that I've just really missed connecting with. And I think, you know my story. You know I had a nervous breakdown 10 years ago, and I've nearly lost my life a couple of times. And I'm really grateful for every morning that I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I can do it. Like, this is good. This is great. And this year, what I'm doing is I'm having more fun. I'm going to have more fun because I've been so invested in growth, in progress. My mindset is in a place where I don't really mindset, so mind form. I'm forming how my mind is working, and it's working so well now, and it's worked so consistently for the last couple of years. And those of you who've experienced a nervous breakdown or some form of mental illness will know how precious it is when your brain is working really, really well. And I really feel for the first time like the foundations are in place. Like, I've learned how to manage my brain, and I want to have some fun. I want to enjoy life, because on New Year's Eve we met a woman who'd lost her husband to COVID. She was a young woman. She was a nurse, an A&E nurse, and she was taken out by her neighbours. And she was explaining it. She got 3 kids, and she was, you know, really, really happy to be alive and really happy to have survived the pandemic. And it really hit a nerve for me that there are some people who have really gone through it the last couple of years, like really, really badly struggled. And who are we to be living and not actually having fun? So that's it for me. This year is fun all the way, folks.
Fun and love and weddings.
Fun and love and weddings.
Sounds
yeah.
like a Disney
Come
princess,
on, Lucy.
doesn't she? She sounds like our very own Disney princess. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, and congratulations again, Lucienne. And Mr. Lucien. I don't know his name. He's like a handsome French dude. Pierre Piauli. You sound like you've made a fashion model. Pierre Piauli.
He's a French man and he's very, very fashiony, yes.
He's very fashionable. He's very handsome. Où est la discothèque, Monsieur Handsome? That's weird, wasn't it?
You're attached to many countries, Lucienne, aren't you? So
she's like the UN.
To English/German, married to a Frenchman.
Yeah, and my ex-husband was half Iraqi, half Irish.
Half Iraqi, half Irish. Let's hope they never meet. Hey, that's good banter, that is. That's good banter.
Sorry, James, just very quickly, when you were talking about Où est la bibliothèque, do you know Flight of the Conchords?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Most amazing live performance I've seen ever.
Have you seen them live?
Yes.
Oh,
and
God,
they were amazing.
I would love to go and see them live. Maybe as part of your fun this year, you and me should go and watch Flight of the Conchords.
if you're prepared for me to be nearly wetting myself for about 2 hours, then that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, I might have to rethink a few things. I might have to think of a few things. Yeah, awesome stuff. Right, we had a couple more people who were going to share, didn't we?
One more. We'll take one more. We had Sharon next, and we will get back to Janetta afterwards, but we'll take one more from Sharon as quick as we can, and then we'll move on.
And she better not come on and go, my learning was beige. Come on, what have you got for us? Better be good.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to say that actually. Although I have learned a lot through Beijing, but thank you.
There was a tone to that, wasn't there? There's a subtext. We won't go there.
Patience. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Beijing. What I would say that I've learned is a couple of things, really. One is the importance of having balance in your life. I think it's really important. I recognise that I wasn't spending as much time as I'd like with the kids because I was focused on work a lot. So I have now created a non-negotiable, which is that I properly cook for the children and we sit down and we have our meal together, which is our family time. So that's really important for me to have that with them. But also just the importance of having discipline and structure in your day as well, and recognizing when I'm going down rabbit holes. I've realized that I've not realized, it's nothing new, but I know that I'm a bit of a butterfly and I can flip from one thing to another and I get easily distracted. So just really focusing in on that, being really disciplined with my time that I do have, and yeah, that would be it for me. Quick share. Thank you.
That's a good one. The home cooked meal one's a good one. We're doing that more as well. Where you sit around a table, have dinner together. Yeah. Because my son just comes down, grabs his plate, goes sits upstairs, leaves the plate under the bed for a couple of weeks.
Lad. Typical lad.
Teenagers.
I love family dinner time. We had our niece over during Christmas. She wanted to come and do work experience.
Is that the one who come to the office? You drove to the office?
Yeah. Face like a slapped ass for 3 hours. So, do you enjoy yourself, Maddie? She's like, yeah, I did actually. I was like, we'll tell your face next time, won't you? My God, you miserable sod. But she actually, because like in their house, they don't like sit around and have dinner together or anything like that. Everyone comes and eats at different times and that. And she's like, it's been really nice, just all like, what is she said? You wouldn't expect it from a 15-year-old. She's like, it's really nice to just engage with people. And I was like, okay. Bit weird from a teenager, from an angsty teenager. She then proceeded to go upstairs and watch Netflix for the next 6 hours and avoid me and Hayley like we had the plague. But it was nice. It was nice.
We can do a quick reset. We'll be back after this.
You are listening to Breakfast with Winners. Exclusive content direct from the Winners Club. If you are enjoying the conversation, click on the green Monopoly house at the top of the screen right now and join the thousands of winners already in our community. For even more actionable content and powerful lessons, download the free companion app now. Just search for the Winners Club in the App Store or Google Play. For more information about the Winners Club and how to become part of our growing community, head to thewinnersclub.club. Now, back to the show.
So, as we said to you earlier, if you're just joining us, we said this when we started the room, but we haven't said it since. And we've got a bit of a special for you this week. Every day for the next 7 days, we've got friend of the show, Rob Moore, coming on to give us his 7 biggest business lessons for 2021. And today's is lesson number 1, I'm guessing. And then Rob's actually joining us live in the studio tomorrow, which is good. Looking forward to that one.
Cool.
Sure, man.
So we won't say too much more about it. We'll just go straight to Rob.
It's like a New Year's advent calendar almost in a way, isn't it? But what's behind door number 1?
Everyone knows Rob Moore. Don't need to say much.
We won't then.
Just his sheer presence is enough. Rob, good morning, mate. How are you?
After all that,
is Rob actually in the room?
It's Rob's birthday as well. Happy birthday to! We have to get some music ready.
Oh, we have to. Yeah,
we have to get some music. Happy birthday to Rob. Good morning, mate. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for your kind words. Yeah, excited for 2022. Thanks for having me on the show. I really love and support your show and what you've done and the community you've built. So it's a pleasure to be here. So tell me what you want me to do.
We want your first lesson. We was chatting, wasn't we, in WhatsApp, and you said you're going to deliver your 7 biggest lessons for 2021. So we want your lesson.
Okay, Paul, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share 7 honest, brutal, hard, real truth lessons of 2021, being a start and scale up entrepreneur, which I believe can help us move into 2022. Now, every year I do a big review of 2021, 2020, 2019. I have for the last 15 years. And I think when I first did it, I was a bit like, oh, how can I be happy, clappy, positive for the next year? But I've learned over the years, certainly, you know, when you build an 8-9 figure even business, that some of the best lessons are the most brutal. And of course, 2020, 2019, 2021, let's be honest, in many ways, they have been pretty brutal. So I'm going to share one lesson a day for 7 days. Like you said, a bit like the 12 days of Christmas, the 7 days of 2022, but just a little bit of word of fair warning to everyone. These aren't happy, clappy and false positive. These are real, on the ground, hardcore things. In some ways, I had one of the best years in business of my last 16. And in some ways, I had the hardest and, most rude awakening years as well. So I want to start with a movement for 2022. And I don't know if any of you have been tuning into the media in 2021. Maybe you got sick of it. Maybe you just had enough of all the, are you a vaxxer? Are you a non-vaxxer? I'm a vaxxer and I hate the non-vaxxers. Maybe you got sick of Boris. I don't know. But one thing I can say for sure is there is a lot of people who believe in a movement towards globalization. And globalization is this fear and feeling that the world is moving more to a more centralized power and authority. And that might be a new world order, a great reset. It might be that, you'll own nothing and be happy. It might mean the removal of the middle class, the removal of the small business, whoever's behind pulling the strings of the government and what the ulterior motives of this sort of virus and these lockdowns are and were, and the Freemasons and the Rothschilds. Now, look, I want to say this. I'm not particularly a skeptical person. I have no idea what's going on in the background of what's happened over the last 2 years, but it's actually been a brilliant lesson for me. Now, a lesson I'll share on another day for 2021 is that the government are probably the biggest threat to your freedom and your finances. And this is something I never thought I'd say. I always thought you'd hear me saying, you are fully responsible, you and only you. You are in full control of your finances and your freedom. And whilst there's still a big part of me believes that, if a government on any day, you can wake up and they can lock you down and they can shut your business down and they can smack up your taxes and they can whack up inflation and quantitative easing, that's something you actually can't control. Now, you can control how you respond to it, but you can't control it. So in one of my other 7 days of 2022, I will talk about how you can productively and positively protect yourself from governmental regulation and change, which, let's be honest, for 10 years or so before 2019 and 2021, we were maybe blissfully naive of what the government could do. Now, the government probably have spent your pension. I was scared at one point, actually, when Trump was in power, that our biggest threat could be a blooming world war. Now, you can't control what happens there, but you can control how you respond to it. But anyway, I'll come back to that on another day. Now, I want to let you know that I know that the start of this could seem somewhat skeptical and pessimistic. I actually don't think it is at all. There's been a lot of research in success. In fact, an HBR research project, I don't know if you've heard of Harvard Business Review, but a Harvard Business Review research study that was done on the 9 success factors of the most successful people. One of them is realistic optimism. Now, I think that's what I've become. I was a pessimist and a skepticist pre-2006. I was a happy, clappy optimist in 2009 and 10. And I guess 16 years and 9 figures in revenue. And, we just finished a property development. And on the face of it, 99 apartments, 159 tenants. We made £13,477,000 net profit in November 2021. So on the face of it, woo! But man, it was nearly 5 years of blood, sweat and tears, and, you know, prices whacked right up through suppliers, various suppliers through the entire project going bust on us, legal cases, scraps with 2 project managers or main contractors. But in the end, you know, made us a lot of money. So that's realistic optimism. Actually, do you know what? I'll do a lesson on that as well, because I think that's a realistic optimism. Let me just make a note of that. Because if Harvard have studied it and that has been a success trait, then hey, look, I'll share that with you. So let's now dig into the big movement I see in 2022. So on the one hand, people are scared of globalization and one single world power and taking away all of our rights and our property and our earning capacity, etc., and universal basic income. Ugh. However, here's the good news. The good news is there is a war on that. And the fight for your freedom, your financial freedom and your liberty and your sovereignty. And that fight is decentralization. And actually, this is probably the best way to open the first of your advent calendars for my little series. And decentralization for me is one of the most exciting movements, probably since the information age or the industrial age. So the Industrial Revolution helped us produce en masse and at low cost. The information age and revolution helped us inform, educate, and learn and reach the masses through the internet. And now I predict and believe that the new great movement of 2022 and beyond is decentralization, the war on globalization. So what is decentralization? What is this movement? This movement is where these big global powers, whether it's the banking system or the media system or the finance system or the political system, these are all being decentralized, disrupted, and broken apart by entrepreneurs, creators, commentators, innovators, people like us. So go and check out online. By a factor of more than 6 times, do you know who the biggest media entity in the world is right now? There's been a research study based on impact and popularity. The single biggest media influencer right now, it's not Sky, it's not Fox, it's not BBC. Do you know who it is? It's Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan is not a political party. Joe Rogan is not a massive corporate entity. Joe Rogan is not big tech. Joe Rogan is an ordinary guy with a voice. And when I saw that this morning, I thought, I have that renewed faith in humanity. I mean, look, I'm a fan of the show anyway. But Joe Rogan is a podcaster, a commentator, someone with an opinion and a voice who's interviewed many amazing people and has grown to be the most powerful media entity in the world. And this is what decentralization is about. So do you know who was the equivalent of that 20 years ago? Rupert fucking Murdoch. Or, you know, the owner of Fox News or HBO or BBC and, you know, the sort of the globalized power authorities. So people like Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, and in Clubhouse, people like the UK Mod Squad and Breakfast with Winners. We are now individual or collective entrepreneurs, people with a voice and a concern for a community. We're way more connected to our community than BBC is or Sky is or Rupert Murdoch is or Fox News is. These guys aren't, you know, these big powerhouses and these, I don't know, corporate controllers, they're not connected to a community. So media is being smashed by podcasters, creators, influencers, clubhousers, TikTokers, Facebook Livers, YouTubers. Mr. Beast just got the record for the quickest video to 100 million views. And that was from his version of the Squid Game. Now, I met Simon Cowell a few weeks ago, spent some time talking to him at his charity ball. Now, Simon Cowell, who does all these reality TV shows, back in 10 years ago, something like that, he would get primetime viewing of about 25 million viewers peak on his talent shows. He now gets 1.8 million peak. Whereas Joe Rogan will get billions of downloads in total. Mr. Beast just got 100 million. I had one Facebook Live that had nearly 1 million views. I regularly have Facebook Lives that have 500,000 views. So I'm now, on a good day, 1/3 to 3/5 of the viewership of the biggest talent shows on mainstream media. This is how the media is being decentralized, fractionalized, broken apart. And this is really exciting. So if you want to create multiple streams of recurring income from your content into cash flow, your information into income, you want to monetize your community or build a community, you want to have a say, you want to turn your passion into your profession, this movement in 22 of decentralization and the war on globalization, it is gaining a head of steam. So we've got centralized by commentators and anti-politicists, anti-politics. We've got social media, which is the disruption of media, but we also now have the decentralization of social media. So get this. If you think that social media disrupted media, like where did you get your news 15, 20 years ago? Newspapers and mainstream media. Now you get it on Facebook. Now you get it on Breakfast with Winners and UK Mod Squad on Clubhouse. Now you get it on podcasts. Now you get it on lives. So social media disrupted media, but now social media is disrupting itself. So I'm currently live here on Clubhouse. There's 734 people that have or are listening in to this talk. And that disrupted Facebook a year ago. So most users on Clubhouse were on Facebook a year ago. And Clubhouse, which is a social media channel, disrupted Facebook. And then Facebook disrupted back by setting up Facebook audio rooms. And then Twitter disrupted back by setting up Twitter Spaces. Then Green Room and Fireside and Speakeasy and Wisdom all disrupted. So we've got this really big, great free market capitalism, you know, the fair market of competition going on social media, which means that you can now reach the masses. You have a say and you have a play. Now it carries on because I'm sure you haven't been living in a box, and I'm sure you've seen cryptocurrencies, NFTs, the metaverse, creator and social coins and tokens. So these four tech Web3 elements, Web 3.0, metaverse, NFTs, cryptocurrencies, this new layer on the internet, this is also decentralization. So if you think about it, cryptocurrencies are decentralized currencies. DeFi and finance is decentralized finance. So the big mainstream banks and whoever controls them, which is, you know, the big banks that are essentially globalism, and now cryptocurrencies and NFTs disrupt the banks and disrupt finance. And moving into 2022 and beyond, you could have your own currency, your own market, your own economy, and you can or cannot create your own inflation. You know, one of the big benefits of Bitcoin is there's virtually no inflation. It can't be manipulated because you can't quantitative ease, because you can't create more of them. So actually, many decentralized finance tech platforms like blockchains and cryptos, they remove the ulterior motive. They remove the hidden agenda, because that's what decentralization is. Decentralization removes the hidden agenda, which most of us don't like. So get excited about 2022. I'm actually launching my new series of NFTs. I was going to do it on my birthday, but it's probably going to be a couple of weeks after. But I'm 43 today, although I didn't want to tell anyone. But yeah, I've created a Genesis series of 43 NFTs, kind of hybridizing my old art days, because I actually used to be a full-time artist, a professional artist, with kind of, you know, the modern digital assets of podcasting and YouTube and, you know, the creator economy. So this creator economy is making people famous, but for a skill. I mean, 20 years ago, you were famous because you were a celebrity. 10, 15 years ago, you were famous because you went viral on reality TV. But reality TV wasn't really a skill. Then you got famous for being an Instagram lifestyler and traveling the world and doing fancy photos. So you got famous putting leggings on and sucking them up your butt and vacuum sucking them in and dancing around. And, you know, we've gone through these stages and phases of fame and virality. But now the creator economy is being famous for something legitimate. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Many of those things I've said are legitimate for a lot of creators. And who am I to judge on the legitimacy? Because, you know, I think information is legitimate, but many people think entertainment is legitimate. So I'm not judging. All I'm saying, though, is the creator economy means your passion and profession becomes your vocation. It becomes your legitimate business. Now, why the creator economy is great and why its part in decentralization of power and globalization is great is because finally you can earn up front. You know, if you were a prostitute and you had to earn 2 or 3 years down the line, that wouldn't be good for business. Like, prostitutes have to get paid up front. They have to get paid up front. But like in content, we're all content prostitutes. Like Gary Vee, everyone's listening to Gary Vee put out 932 pieces of content a day for 10 years to be an overnight success, basically saying, be a content prostitute, but don't get paid for years. I mean, who wants to do that shit? It's not a great way to earn a great living or make a fortune. But it's all changed now because of the creator economy, which is part of this decentralization movement. Because now being a creator is legitimate. It's not frowned upon. Oh, you're just doing content. Oh, you're just making money out of talking online. Oh, that's not a legitimate thing. Now it's a legitimate thing. And all the social media channels are fighting for you. So, for example, if you go live on TikTok, they'll give you gifts. You can set up on the TikTok Creator Fund. And subscriptions is coming on TikTok. If you have a podcast, then you can run ads and have subscriptions. You can have ads, subscriptions, brand partners on a podcast. On Facebook, you can have supporters and stars and ads on your live videos. So right now, social media are rewarding you finally. I mean, I've been doing content for 8 years, running my mouth off. And it took me 7 years to build 500,000 followers. And then the next 9 months, I more than doubled it to 1.1 million because the creator economy is now set up for you. And now you can turn on all these monetization tools. There's 20 of them. There's 20. In fact, if the team allow me, I've got a gift. And one of them is 20 ways to monetize social media. And all these features are there on every channel, hidden in plain sight. You just need to know how to unlock them. So now you turn your content into cash flow, your information into income, as long as you make your content an asset through multi-stream living and content repurposing. Now it's a legitimate profession. So I believe there's a huge opportunity in 2022 against this massive movement, against the impingement on our freedom and against this move that some people are scared of towards globalization. And by the way, I fight it. I do personally fight for decentralization. There is the emerging of the DAO, D-A-O, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So some people predict in the future, no one big power player or big tech CEO or VC firm will own a company. The users will own the company, where there is true democracy, where the users vote on the strategy and direction of the company. A decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I do have a gift to share, or I can sit here and ask any questions if you would like me to do that. But the biggest fight for your freedom has to be your ability to, one, earn recurring income. If you're not earning recurring income, if you don't have digital assets, then one lockdown or one variant or one quarantine or one government change or one hike in taxes could blow your ability to earn. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you know, Money isn't everything. Well, try and live without money and try and live without your ability to earn. People say, oh, freedom is not all about money, but money buys you freedom. So the first thing you need for true freedom is recurring income, not occurring income. The second thing that you need is the ability to reach a community, to have a free voice, to be listened without being deplatformed or cancelled or shadow banned. And the way that you do that, by the way, and there's a couple of ways to do that. Number one is you create your own platform. So there's quite a few new, apparently decentralized platforms which give you ultimate freedom of speech. There's Zion that's just launched. There's Getter, Gettr. There's other platforms that apparently are decentralized. You'll see more and more of these come. The next thing is a lot of these new platforms are letting you reach your own data. So on Clubhouse and Facebook and TikTok, even if, across those three platforms, I have more than 600,000 followers, I can't email any of them. I can't reach any of them off of Clubhouse or TikTok or Facebook. So at any day I could get deplatformed, cancelled, shadow banned, hacked, and I've just lost reach to 650-ish thousand people. That's damaging for my ability to be decentralized and free and have access to my community. So, number one, you need to have your own decentralized platform. Whether it's a decentralized platform you leverage or one you create on your own, that's up to you. A decentralized platform would be an email database. So if you go to robmoore.com/pod, that's the way we can stay in touch. There's also some gifts there, by the way, robmoore.com/pod. But I can communicate with everyone there. I just send one value-add email out once a week on, YouTube videos and podcast episodes and content on the creator economy, creating recurring income, multiple streams of income, monetizing your personal brand, starting and scaling your business, getting better financial knowledge. But it is a massive risk to me. I have millions of subscribers and downloads. In fact, tens of millions of subscribers and downloads across my podcast content. But I cannot communicate with anyone directly other than through the podcast medium. So it's absolutely vital that you have your own following, decentralized. Mine is robmoore.com/pod. The next really important thing for you to leverage this decentralization movement is to be on multi-platform. So Clubhouse, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, podcast, all the new audio platforms that are launching. It's vital that you have a presence across them all. So when one shadow bans you, cancels you, deplatforms you, or you get hacked, you're okay. My lovely friend Shah Wasman got hacked and she got her Instagram and her Facebook shut, gone, deleted. And, she makes hundreds of thousands a year from Facebook and Instagram because that's where most of her community are. I published a video on YouTube 2 months ago. My YouTube growth was going mad. We'd grown about 30,000 followers in 5 days. And then bang, I got shadow banned from one video I uploaded by David Icke. And so for the last, 2 months, my YouTube's been, really restricted in its reach. So your own platforms, like, for example, robmoore.com/pod, where it's my own way to communicate with you. We've got each other's contact details, and across all social media platforms. So quick summary. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, listening in. This is part one of a 7-part series on the hardest, brutalist, but most pessimistically, realistically, optimistic lessons of 2021. And the fight against globalization is decentralization. There is a war on your freedom. And the only way that you can really control your own freedom is through decentralization, recurring income from digital assets, and multi-platform reach. And the fight against the Great Reset and the New Order and big tech companies is decentralization of finance into cryptos and NFTs. decentralization from media into social media in the form of social tokens and clubhouse communities and creators on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. Then there's the audio influencer revolution, thanks to Clubhouse and all the new audio channels. There's the NFTs and the metaverse. And this creator economy is a legitimate way to have reach and revenue and impact and income in 2022.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. I think I've got to give it one of these. Got to give it a round of applause, haven't I? Oh, hang on, it's run out. There you go. Thanks, birthday boy. Very much appreciate it. Fantastic,
yeah, amazing stuff, Rob.
Fantastic content.
There's a link, I think, at the top, isn't there?
There's a link that is pinned to the top of the room right now, which goes to robmoore.com/pod, and you can get more information there about all the stuff that Rob shared. I remember sort of conversations about this stuff happening like 18 months ago, and everyone's going, nah, this ain't going to last, is it? Nah. Cryptos, metaverse, buying a jacket you're never going to wear apart from like in a game. Nah. Oculus. Nah. Ain't going to work, is it? This is.
Some of the stats were so alarming as well.
No.
The X Factor one. The X Factor one blew me.
Oh my God.
25 million down to 1 million or whatever. I can't believe that. That's mental.
So what, Rob? Sorry, what was the numbers? He in his prime, it used to be what 25 million people tuned in. Now it's about 1.5.
So, yeah, about a decade ago, Simon Cowell's reality or talent shows would get 25 million peak audience, and the last one, by the way, he's left some of them because of this. The last one was 1.8 million peak audience, so that's like more than a 90% drop. So that's like losing 9 out of 10 of your followers.
Cool.
What when you chatted to him about this, and obviously, I assume you were there amongst a lot of other people, and you probably didn't have sort of hours to sort of drill into. Maybe you'll get him on the podcast. Who knows? Especially now that you've democratized the audio revolution. But did you have the conversation with him about? Is he gonna come off the TV entirely? Will he literally just do stuff solely online?
No, I didn't. You're right. A friend of mine introduced us. I spoke to him for maybe 5 minutes, and most of the comments were on my jacket. He was very complimentary about my bling jacket. But no, I didn't. He was there with his girlfriend. I didn't really get a chance to talk about what he's doing in the future. There's a very good chance I will get him on the podcast. But with people like that, you have to be very patient because obviously they're not always in the country. They have a lot of demands on their time. But for me, the answer is pretty obvious, and that is you have direct access on social media rather than mainstream media. So, for example, this is really interesting. I'm not really a listener of the charts because I've got a disgusting taste in music. So the charts is the opposite of what I listen to. But if you look at a lot of people on the charts now, many of them get in the top 10 or 1 through TikTok. Many of the top charters are launching their music on TikTok, and Christmas number 1 for like the 4th time record was Lad Baby. Who built their following on YouTube and Facebook and social media.
Yeah.
So the death of media is social media. James, that's why I've this link at the top, robmoore.com/pod. I've put 4 special gift bonuses there that are all related to this. So 19 ways to 10x your social media following, 20 ways to monetize social media and unlock all the tools. Because like next year, who knows what the government are going to do? And I think it's only unpopularity that's stopping Boris from just locking us all down. And, if you're a bit skeptical about the motives. So if you don't have a good following on social media and monetization tools on social media, and if you're not leveraging the creator economy, then you might not have your ability to earn may be robbed from you in 2022. How many pubs, bars, clubs, restaurants, nightclubs, gyms got absolutely screwed in December because of a cold that was going around? Let's be fucking honest. That's what's happened. December, the best month in the year for most companies. All retail and leisure, etc., they do 80-90% of their profit in December. And what's been proven to be probably no worse than a common cold or a harsh cold, and they can't trade through December. So this is why I'm giving these resources at robmoore.com/pod. And it's my birthday, because you must fight this and you must take control.
You mentioned something really interesting a minute ago, that you sort of have a couple of different platforms for each major sort of content type, so that if there is no centralization even within your content, so you would build up, if YouTube shut you down, you've got Vimeo, or if if Apple Podcasts shut you down, you still got it on Spotify. If you got like a number of platforms you have to have as a minimum, do you always have to have like at least 2 for any sort of main content type that you work towards? Because obviously Clubhouse has got the biggest reach on as an audio social media platform. Green Room popped up and you got Wisdom and stuff. They don't seem to have got longevity of traction from what I've seen, for sure. But are you looking for at least like 2 platforms as a minimum for each content type?
Yeah, James, that's a really good question. I've not thought about it specifically like that, but actually, now that you've said it, I think I probably do. So, for example, I have my main Twitter account, but I also have another account. It's actually branded for my podcast, The Disruptive Entrepreneur. But thinking about it, one of the main reasons I do that is in case I get my main account shut down. On YouTube, I have my main account, but then I have another sort of smaller backup account. And we really just use that as like a cloud storage for video content. But it means if you get one account shut down, you've got another one that hasn't got 0 following. So number one is you probably actually want a backup account on each platform. Number one, I've got that on Facebook, etc. Number 2 is I've not really thought in terms of 2 social media channels per media. I just want to be omnipresent, because if you're omnipresent on all social media, you don't need to run a load of Facebook, YouTube, and Google ads. Now, I also run a load of Facebook, Google, and YouTube ads, but if you're omnipresent, you don't need to do that. If one or more platform shut you down, you've not lost the whole following. What you can also do is cross-pollinate all of your followings. So, for example, if you're on Clubhouse, like I've put robmore.com/pod at the top, which means that some of the people who listen to me on Clubhouse can now get communicated with me off of social media. So you use your social media platforms to grow your social media platforms. You have a backup in case one or more media or platforms go down. You reach more people, which is really important, which means you can have more collaborations. Obviously, you've got a bigger community, and you have more virality. So yeah, I think it's a lot of people get overwhelmed, James, because they're like, oh man, all these social media channels. But it's actually not that difficult. You've just got to do some testing. So I have now 6 phones. I just bought a couple of old iPhone 8s. They're only like $150. And I will sometimes do Wisdom and Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse simultaneously. And unless I say, no one can really tell. So a few old devices or a stream platform like StreamYard means you can multi-stream across multiple platforms. And also, James, this is a big one. Let's be honest, right? I mean, all of us, Ashley, Paul, James, we pretty much got on Clubhouse on the same day. It was end of December 2021. And we had no idea if this would be a thing. I know Ashley, Paul, and James and Matt, you guys pinch yourself regularly. Wow, we never thought this would be such a thing. How did this become so amazing and connected? And how did this community spirit build? But there was every chance that in a month, Clubhouse could have just died. But it didn't. But it might in a year. Who knows? But what about Green Room and Fireside and Speakeasy and Twitter Spaces and Facebook audio rooms? There's 5 there. One of them could go massive. So it's really important to try and to test all the social media platforms, because you have no idea which one's going to pop. But if you don't try it because you're too slow, you miss the virality. So Joe Rogan recently promoted Getter, Gettr, and I went straight on it. So I have a little rule now, James. If anyone I respect or a few people start saying, new social media platform, join it, I join it. And 5 years ago, I'd have been like, oh, for God's sake, another social media platform, piss off. I can't take it. But you have no idea which one's going to go, and you also have no idea which one's going to get killed. So Parler, everyone was talking about Parler. Do you remember when, was it Vine? Vine, bang, shut down. People lost millions of followers. Parler, the big freedom of speech platform, bang, Amazon shut it down. So there are various reasons why having multiple social media channels and outlets are important, James.
And have you got one place that you use as your like hub of all of your content that you really sort of protect? Is it like drive as many people to the mailing list as possible, because then at least you've got people's details and data that you can always directly get in contact? 'Cause, you know, for example, with Disruptive Entrepreneur, you know, it's very rarely out of the top 100 of all of the sort of the business charts. It gets, you know, really, really good downloads of numbers, top 1% podcast, blah, 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 all that other good stuff. But that is, you've built a real solid foundation in somebody else's sandbox. So do you have something like is your mailing list your sort of close protection space because you control that?
Well, over time, that's changed, James. 15 years ago, it was my database. You know, you build it from 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000. I got it up to about 825,000. And then email open rates started to go down and down and down and down and down and down and down. And then social media disrupted email, and then people stopped using email. Kids don't really use email. They use direct instant messengers or WhatsApps, etc. So then I started focusing on the big new ones like Facebook and Facebook groups and communities. But now email is kind of coming back again because of everything that we've just talked about, James. So yeah, I'm refocusing on building up again my email database, maybe even, you know, places like Telegram, or even making sure that we all have each other's contact details. So email database, ones where phone numbers can be shared or exchanged, because then you control your reach and you control your access to your community.
Awesome stuff. Well, it would be remiss of us to not do this. Hit that button, DJ Paul. Happy birthday. Come on, Ashley Shipman, sing. Rob Moore's here. Sing him happy birthday. Happy birthday, mate. I know he's got all red, hasn't he? Happy birthday, Rob. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your 43rd birthday in our company. If you'd have thought, you know, as you're sort of growing your brand across all those platforms, where will I be on my 43rd birthday? Knocking about with James, Paul and Matt and Ashley Shipman.
I tell you,
on the Clubhouse app.
You better tidy your desk today.
That's the dream.
That is, you've made it, mate.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You've got to tidy your desk. We better clean the studio.
I don't have nothing this side of my desk. I have 2 coasters and a screen.
Can you bring some headphones in at least with you tomorrow? No, not going to happen, is it? He don't care. The Queen of England could turn up and he's still going to not bring his phone.
James, if you can help a brother out, just please. Haley's got a spare set, just pack them, please.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you, Rob, for lesson number 1 of our reverse advent calendar of brilliant stuff for 2022. And we look forward to seeing you in the studio for more good stuff live in person tomorrow. Awesome stuff.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, team. Thanks for
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers, mate. And don't forget, go and click the link at the top of the room, gang, if you want to find out more information at robmoore.com/pod and get a hold of those bonuses as well. That's awesome stuff. Right. We're going to move into the next section now, which is marketing strategies for 2022. It's been teed up very nicely with that conversation that we've just had. We have got one of the... Have you got some dramatic music or something? Can we have some... Dun, dun, dun. He's a guy from Kent who decided to better his life. He became one of the leading marketeers in the country. Some say he's a marketing genius, which is why he calls his company Einstein Marketer. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only. Well, if you just type the word dramatic into Spotify. So I'll wait. Just go on, play out first one. What do you reckon? Do you think it's going to be any good now? Cat and Camwell.
It's going to be a massive anticlimax when I actually come on and speak in it.
Wow. No, it doesn't work, does it?
Don't do that.
Anyway,
let's get down to business.
Matty Wilson.
Anyway, Matt's here.
Favourite mark. Don't underplay him like that. It's one of the best marketers in a flipping country. Matty Wilson is here, and every Tuesday is our marketing special here on Breakfast with Winners, brought to you by the Winners Club. I almost forgot what our name was then. I was like, what's this thing called again? Clubhouse, right, got it. Okay, cool. Matty is always here to solve your marketing problems. This guy is doing hundreds of thousands of pounds in paid for adverts every single month. So he is someone who knows more than most about marketing. So every single week we love to give you guys the opportunity to get your marketing problem solved by a leading expert So today, what we wanted to do is almost like what do we call it? Like
a hot seat. That's what we call it sometimes. Yeah, in some of our programs that we do, it's like a hot seat. Someone gets up and they'll either show us what they've currently got, so we can sort of fix it, take a look at it, see what they're doing wrong, or they just tell us the idea, what they've got. Or the product or service or whatever they've got, and we'll map out some sort of strategy to help them do it. It'll appeal to a lot of people listening as well as the person that's actually in the hot seat, because lots of the strategies for lots of different businesses are exactly the same.
Awesome stuff. Yeah. So what we are going to do is give you the opportunity, if you would like to. In fact, let's turn a hand raise off. And then we'll turn it back on because we could get some. Josh has just messaged me. Josh from Einstein.
Josh Barney.
He must be awake in Portugal. Yeah, nice. Right, turn the hand raise off and we'll turn it back on in a minute. If you'd like to come up on stage, you're more than welcome to. This is the inclusive hub for getting your voice heard. But the rule of the game today is, if you want to come up, you've got to come, kind of like bring us your offer. What is it you're looking to pitch or sell or create?
What are you currently? Well, what is it you're currently got that you're trying to? Bring it up and we'll map it out. Now, normally we do this. This is like our first port of call, really, when people come into our agency. So for those of you guys that don't know that listening, we run a marketing agency in Kent.
The marketing agency, not just a marketing agency.
Yes, the marketing agency in Gravesend for sure. And we help people run ads. We spend money on Facebook, TikTok now as well for the last sort of 4 months, YouTube. But the biggest, most important thing is always the strategy that people have got in place first, right? The funnel, as it's known now. The business model is what it used to be called years ago, but it's now called a funnel, right? It's been sort of like flashed up with upsells and downsells and all this sort of stuff. But effectively, it's just a business model that's online. Yeah. Where do you send people when you've got their attention on platforms like Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram? Where is it you send them? What are you asking them to do? What's the next thing you're asking them to do? What's the next thing you're asking them to do in that order? That's the strategy. That's the business model. That's the funnel that we help our clients come up with before we then take them on. And this is a service we normally charge for. Sometimes we give it away for free, but people come in, we map that out for them, and then they can then choose to have us help them, us do it for them, or go and do it themselves. Yeah. But it has to be the first thing, because what loads of people think is that the traffic or visitors to your site, traffic's the lingo. Traffic is the problem. And they think, right, I've got this thing, all I need is more people to see it. That's what they think the problem is. But it's never, ever the problem, ever. It's that the thing that they've got in place is not going to convert. It's the wrong strategy. If we were to send 1,000 people there, you would get nothing from it apart from losing some money on ads. That thing has to be in place first. It's so important. Like what Rob basically just said, and he finished on, is, he's now focusing on building his database. We do Rob's marketing. We do his Facebook ads. We build his funnels. And he's focusing now on building more of a list, getting back into building a list, getting them off these platforms that are centralized, I think he called them, right? And getting them onto a platform that you actually control in case one of these go down. It's all well and good having an audience somewhere, but unless you've got them somewhere else that you control, like an email list, which is still an amazing thing to have, because you can promote to, once you've got them on there, you can promote to them for free whenever you want. You can add value, send them stuff when you are going live, when you have got a YouTube video, when you have got a podcast episode, you email your list and you've got a free source of traffic there that you can communicate with anytime you want. So it's very, very important that...
Is that still one of the main things that you push people to create for an online business, is a mailing list, so you have 100%. Got that hub of data that you can control? It's
the first thing. Every time. Really? Okay. Every time it's the first thing. Can we first get them on your email list? Because first of all, it's the most efficient thing to do, because if you send them straight to an offer, you're only going to get a very, very small percentage of the people that see that, because a lot of them are going to be cold, right? Like people don't buy when you want them to buy. They buy when they're ready. But the problem is you're trying to sell to them when you want to sell to them, not when they're ready to buy. So you send 100 people to an offer, you might get, let's say, just for the sake of this discussion, you get one person buy. You've got 99 people that have gone. and there's no way for you to then communicate with them when they're ready to buy. If you first send those 100 people to somewhere where you get them on your email list, you might get 50 of those people on your email list. One of those people still might buy, but then those 49 people you can nurture, you can communicate with over time. You can put them into a content sequence that sends them really good value, that builds a relationship with you, your brand, that educates them, that gets them excited, that gets them in state. And then 3, 4 weeks, 4 years down the line, when they're ready to buy, you've got them on your list. It's so important. And there's so many people out there that they're just not focusing on that first, you know. And it's all well and good building these platforms and audiences on these platforms, but unless you are doing something deliberate with a strategy to get them on that list first, then you're just wasting your time, in all honesty, you know. And eventually, and you know, like Rob said, eventually one of those things might break, and that audience could be gone. Like you mentioned Shah there, you know, and I know she's got a big following on those platforms, got hacked, because I saw Shah the day after. She was around one of my clients' houses. I went round there to see him, and Shah was there. She was doing some filming with him, and it was the day after it happened on Facebook. Bearing in mind, she's got hundreds of thousands of followers on Facebook or whatever. Completely hacked, completely shut down. She cannot get into her Facebook.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And I don't think she's still got it back now. It's a nightmare. So she's got no way now. All of that work that she's done, the hundreds of thousands of hours she's put in to building that audience, and now down the drain, because if she wants to communicate anything with those people, she can't, because for whatever reason it's shut down. Whereas and Shah does do this as well, but if she'd focused, which she probably has, on getting them onto an email list, at least she's got that as a backup. They're still there. When she gets a new Facebook, she can send them she can send an email to her list to get them guys back on Facebook, you know, tell them the story of what's happened. So what I thought we'd do today is people can come up and tell us what they've got, just like we would in a, you know, initial consultation at Einstein, and I'll help you come up with a strategy to, you know, get that out there. Lauren's a really good example. So Lauren's in one of our coaching programs, Lauren Lepley, and she's got an offline business. Well, one of her businesses is an offline business, right? It's a physical centre. It's a health and wellness centre in, she's going to hate me for not remembering where it is. Where is it? I can't remember.
Dorset or somewhere, isn't it?
North
Devon, there you go.
Dorset, there you go. You know, her strategy is completely different for someone that, for instance, that's got a coaching program or that wants to sell their advice or sell a product or a service online. It's totally different. But, you know, we implemented a strategy for her. She's already started doing it, and it's, you know, she's seeing the fruits already. Like she said before, she's got hundreds of leads. Her strategy, by the way, was, you know, she wanted more people, more memberships. We sat down and said, right, how many people do you need as paying members in your wellness centre? And she said, well, this number would be great. Okay, how do we do that? Well, let's first of all let everyone around where you live know that it's there. One of the biggest problems that people face is that no one knows they exist. This is awareness. No one knows they're even there. You know, Lauren, for all she knew, she thought that every single person in, where was it again?
North Devon.
Let's
take a punt. Barnstable.
That's it. I think that is actually it, isn't it, Lauren?
It is. It's Barnstable.
Yeah, Barnstable. Great.
Devon.
As far as Lauren was concerned, everyone in Barnstable could have walked past and decided not to go in, but that's never the case. The fact is that they didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
So the first thing that Lauren did, very, very cheaply, is start running some engagement ads, some awareness type ads of just simple videos showing people around the wellness centre. And the video, it was quite funny when I was sort of coaching her on filming it. You know, I told her how I want it to be. Like, start outside with you, welcoming them, opening the door, camera goes in, and then walks around each part of the wellness centre, identifying all of the different things. She's got a yoga classroom in there. She's got a gym. She's got a cafe, like a vegan cafe. Walk them around. She's got a creche. All of these awesome things. Like, walk them around, and then just start showing that to all of the people in Barnstable. First of all, then what we want to do is come up with an offer. Now there's awareness. Let's now come up with an offer to actually get them to do the thing you want them to do, which is get a membership. Now, what we could have done with Lauren, like what loads of people would have done, is let's run an ad that just offers people to sign up. up as a member. That's never going to work because, again, it's just too much of a big step. So let's make it simpler. Let's smaller. Let's make the steps a little bit smaller. So we run first of all, we had to come up with an offer. So the offer was 1 month's free membership. Easy, right? At this place. And that's just an easy offer. It's just a really easy offer to create. And it always pays off because her stick rate, like she said, once people sign up, they stick for pretty much forever because they love it there. It's like a community. Okay, so what's the problem in giving the first month away free? All we need to do is get them through the door, but that hooks them. But let's not get them to get their card out and put their card details in so they're immediately charged. Let's make the steps a bit smaller. We run an ad where a form pops up and we said for a free membership, for a free 30-day membership at this wellness centre, just click the button and fill in your information. So a form pops up and they fill out their first name, last name, email, phone number. That's it. Brilliant. And then on the thank you page, it says, great, one of our team will contact you. Now we've got the lead because we haven't asked them to take their card out of their wallet, which is a scary thing to do, and put details in, even though it's free and it's a trial. We haven't asked them to do that yet, but we've got their information. This is what Lauren said earlier. She's got over 100 of them. And then I said, right, now let's think about the process. This is part of the strategy that we could go through today with some people. Right, what could be the next step? Do we just hope they walk in? No. That's because no one's going to do that. Unless we actually put a strategy in place to get them in, the next step's to get them in so that we can actually sign them up here. All right, so how do we do that? Well, the process needs to be, once the lead comes in, a member of your team calls that person up. Hi, Ashley. Yeah, thanks for signing up. Brilliant. Well, this is how we do it. You have to come in for an induction. We'll show you around. When are you free? Can you make it on this date? You tell me when you're free. We block that in the calendar. We confirm it with you. Now you're coming in when you're ready, when you're free. When that person comes in, they have the induction and they sign up at the desk. Great. All we need now is your details to sign you up. What's your address? Blah, blah, blah. And how are you going to be paying for that? Credit or debit card? Debit card? Yeah. Okay, great. Brilliant. You won't be charged now. You can cancel any time, but that's it. You're done. Brilliant. Off you go. And that's the process. That's the strategy.
So you sign him up as a full member, but the first payment's deferred for a month.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
But the secret, because this is where a lot of people go wrong, especially with that type of offer, is they'll just get people to give us your name and email. No. You the only way you get this is if you commit with your card. Nothing. You're not going to be charged, but that's your commitment to us. Is you're at least going to give us your card so that if you don't cancel, you will be charged. So I reckon it's going to be a really successful campaign. So when Lauren said about 100 leads earlier, that was from that first step. All right. I don't know how many people that's been called or appointments been booked and all of that, but that'll be the next step. And then you'll see a drop off. But the point is, she's got those 100 now, those 100 plus. They're on her database. She's got them now. Right, so I reckon the numbers will probably be about 50% of people will probably confirm, probably 80% of those people will actually come, so about 40 in total, and then from those people we'll probably get 20 or 25 actually sign up. That's what I think. We're for the free trial. And then she might... So
it's 100 just to break it down for you, it's 100 leads.
Yep.
50% of those people will actually deal with the phone call or they'll actually then go in.
Yeah, that'll be your biggest drop-off, getting hold of them and actually getting them to come in.
Then of those who say they're coming in,
about
80% will actually show up. 20% just won't. You won't hear from them again. They're going to ghost you. And then from that, you reckon you're going to sell to about... Or you'll commit about half.
About half, and then I reckon 15 will stick. So I reckon about 15%, 15 from 100 will stick. But what that means for Lauren, right? Let's say, for instance, I don't know how much she's spent yet, but it wouldn't have been much. Right? Let's say she spent 500 quid or whatever. She spent £500. She gets 15 people to sign up. If those 15 people are paying 50 quid a month, that's £750 a month. She spent 500. She's got £750 recurring revenue there. Someone's phone's going off. But anyway, I went off on a bit of rant there. But that's what I mean about a strategy and laying it out, precisely. Now, Lauren, I'm sure would have figured it out. But if she didn't have us guiding her on that and telling her what to who's lost us?
Are we back, guys? We've peer-to-peer.
Yeah, we couldn't hear a word of it then. We can hear you now.
Sorry, we're back.
We're back.
We had some technical difficulties. We're back.
Yeah, if Lauren had tried to figure that out herself, what she might have tried to do is, again, just a classic mistake, just try to get them to sign up straight away from an ad.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have worked. She would have lost money on the ad. It's all in the strategy. It's all in the strategy. Is where you're sending them, the process, the business model, the funnel that you're sending them through. Is it correct for the type of offer you've got, the type of business, the type of industry you're in? And it's always different. There's probably like 5 or 6 different strategies depending on what you do, what it is, what industry you're in, definitely what you sell, what your price points are. So yeah, that was a long-winded way of saying, bring us your ideas, guys.
9 minutes later, we get to the point. No, but I like that. And that's a really good example of someone who's actually done the process. And like I say, there's many points where that could have potentially gone wrong or dropped off if you just try and get that quicker win, which is, let's just get the email address, or let's just, even better, let's just get the sale. Because all marketing is, derived to and get a sale. Well, not really. Yeah. If you do it in the right way. Awesome stuff. Right. Okay, so Matty Wilson, aka Mr. Einstein Marketing himself, is here to help, to support, and to help the growth of your business. Do you think as well with like a marketing agency like you guys, for example, in the last the role of marketing has changed? Because obviously, before marketing agencies were, we will do advertising, it will drive this outcome, you do the rest of it. But now it's very much like it's business development, isn't it, that you do really?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that comes from me because, when I used to run a company, I used to run a seminar company, and for someone else, it wasn't my company, but I ran it. I was the one that come up with the strategies. So I think what we do different to what a lot of other people do is we are really good at mapping out the right strategy for the client. What lots of agencies will do, you'll come to me and you'll say, yeah, I've got this thing to promote. I want to spend $5,000 a month on advertising. And I'll say, sweet, give me your money and we'll do it. They don't actually look like we physically will turn people away if we don't think that it's going to convert. We won't take their money because, trust me, because we've made this mistake in the past, it will just be a pain in the arse and a ball ache for us. Because the first thing they'll do when it doesn't work is blame us. Like salespeople blame the marketing, right? It's that classic thing. If it doesn't work, the first person that gets the blame is us. So there's no way that I'm going to promote something unless I'm confident.
But if it goes right, it's all down to them.
It's all exactly right, yeah. So there's no way that I would promote something that I don't think would convert, And one of the big reasons why last year we heavily got into the coaching side of things as well, and we created loads of done with you trainings and even do it yourself trainings, and trainings and education around it. Firstly, most of the people that are out there teaching this stuff just chat shit and they don't actually do it. They just learnt it from someone else and now teach other people it. And it's like the blind leading the blind sort of thing. That was one reason. But the biggest reason was because we were getting so many people come to us asking for help that didn't actually need an agency. There's so many people out there that did not need an agency and were willing to pay us money. And it's like, look, you've got your budget right now is £1,000 a month on marketing. Our minimum fee is £1,500 a month. And they're willing to pay it, but it doesn't make sense. And we're saying to them, for that budget, we can teach you how to manage this. So, and we ended up like doing loads of just free teaching, right? So then we thought, right, let's just create loads of, we've got things that are just 50 quid that I know people in this room have had, right the way up to thousands of pounds, depending on how much help you want. But it gives the people that don't need an agency, which is the majority of people. Most of our average spend for a client, because we haven't got many clients, but our average spend for a client's about £30,000 a month. That's our average. Yeah. So our average client spends £30,000 a month. We've got clients that spend under 5, but if you are down at that range, then you don't actually need one. Lots of people think they need one, but at that level, it's very easy for you to learn to do it, especially if you've got a bit of help. Yeah. It's actually really easy for you to learn to do it yourself.
And then you can use all your ad budget, all your marketing budget for marketing.
Why pay me? Why pay $1,000 on marketing, $1,500 to me, when you can spend $2,500 on marketing?
Yeah.
Like this is, but other agencies obviously wouldn't. They'd be like, yeah, sweet. sweet, whatever.
Yeah,
I would take
yeah.
the money, but it doesn't sit well with me. It really didn't. So our solution was, I'm a pretty good teacher. You know, I'm good at teaching and talking and things like that. So our solution for that was, right, let's create some solutions for these guys. You know, let's create some, here, take this away, spend 50 quid, go and learn this yourself, you know, go and do it yourself sort of thing. So
let's open it up. Let's open it up to a few people then. Let's try and help a few people this morning. What I would love to do, I've opened up the hand raise. I'm going to literally just turn it off and on again because I hadn't pre-set up what the context of this was going to be. Right, so if you want to come up on stage... man.
Come on.
Old school 90s reference here, Big Brother. So if you'd like to come up and have your marketing problem solved this morning, the hand raise is open. If you've never been on Clubhouse before, if you've never been into one of our rooms before, feel free to come up and share. And we will literally, I say we, the royal we, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to sit here and look at Matt's masterful marketing, frankly. But Matt is going to actually help you to drive your offer forward. So I'm going to leave the hand raise open. Only come up only put your hand up if you'd like to come up and discuss your program. I'll go through the people who've just added themselves. If there's anyone, mods and speakers on the stage, our usual gang, if anyone would like to talk about their offer, feel free to let us know. We'll go through you guys first, and I'll just double check who we've got, who's stuck their hand in the air. So if you're already on the stage, if you would like to... sorry, I've gone into the Gladiators theme tune accidentally. Do you remember Gladiators?
Oh, Gladiators.
What a show!
What a show. They should bring that back.
Do you remember Jet?
I was Lightning was my favourite.
Oh, really?
She was my favourite.
Niche.
Yeah.
I liked Jet and Rhino, so make of that what you will. There you go. Right, anyone who's got an offer that they'd like to discuss, then we will go for that. Let's go for Horsey Jenny. Hello, Horsey Jenny. I know that's not your official title, but I'm just going to go with that. Horsey Jenny, hello. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Hi, James. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year and all that good
everybody.
stuff. Right, tell Matty Wilson, what is your marketing problem that you need solved, or the marketing help you would like to have from us this morning, my friend?
Hello, Matthew.
Hi, Jenny.
Lovely man. I hope you've had a fabulous Christmas with your lovely family.
You too.
Yeah. So my main product at the moment is a £1,500 12-week group coaching program. It sells all right on its own. I am fully aware I need something above that in the funnel that's a lower cost, but I'm totally torn as to what to do to get people in, to get them, trusting us more and what have you, to convert into what in our industry is actually quite a high ticket product. And I've played about with ads and things before, but I've never really strategized it and done it properly. So I kind of, the thing that I would like to know is I've got some ideas as to what might be a good in route for them to then upsell into that product, but I'm really torn as to which one I go for, because I'm like, what I'm like, kiddie in a sweetie shop, magpie, definitely entrepreneur. Yeah. Find it really hard to just stick to one thing. That's my thing for this year, by the way, stick to one thing and do it well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of people around in the same situation, which is they've got a high ticket thing, but they haven't got the lower value piece. How do they do this?
So what are the options?
Okay, so an option would be just the recordings of the high ticket, so they don't get to join in live. For instance, they just get to listen into the thing, so they get some value, but not all of it. Another one would be access to the online learning program, just one segment of it, for instance, or maybe 30 days of it for free. So basically, just the ticket program gives them access to the online learning, which is in ClickFunnels, it's membership, online piece of videos, me training them on the theory. And then they also get to come join once a week live with me on Zoom. So they get live coaching, live brain rewiring done for them, and some hypnosis and all sorts of bits and pieces for 12 weeks. So they get to join in with that live. They get the community behind that and things as well. So do I take a piece of that package, or do I create a new one, or what do I do?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, first question is, would you prefer to just sell more of the 1,500?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and you're this where you're coming from with this question is you think that is going to drive more sales into that top one to give people something lower to go into first, yeah.
Yeah, so basically the way my market works is, they are horsey, they do spend money, it's not a problem. There is no one else doing the kind of high ticket like I do there in my realm. We're the UK's top training and coaching mindset equestrian company now, so we're doing well. But people still see 1,500 quid and think, blimey, I could buy half a saddle for that. So it still seems a really high ticket thing, even though it's not. The retention rate on it is brilliant. They go into a monthly, once they've done their 12 weeks, they then continue on a monthly. Most of them, about 75% of them, continue monthly paying to be a part of it still. But to get them into that 1500, so at the moment, any marketing takes them into a 30-minute call with me, which is sales call, and then I sell them into it. But of course, to scale that, I'm either going to need more salespeople to help with scaling that, or I'm not quite sure how to scale it. That's not going to involve a lot more of my time doing 30 minutes with them every single time to do it. I've had 65 go through it in the last year, so it's a proven concept now. But how do I get more people going through that? Because that's easily scalable, that product.
Yeah, good. Okay, cool. So first of all, just one quick side question before I give you my answer and my strategy. Do you have a Facebook group with this community?
Yes, I've got 1,500.
Nice. Okay, that's brilliant. And
traditionally, I've been running free challenges. That's how I've been pushing them into Mastermind, and they've worked quite well.
Fantastic. And have you got some sort of lead magnet apart from the free challenge that you offer?
Not at the moment. That's the problem. No, and because I can't decide what the lead magnet's going into, I haven't created the lead magnet.
Okay, cool. Well, look, this is what I would do. Let's answer your first question first of all. So, if I was you in that market, because what you've got to remember is whether you're charging £45 for something or £295 for your first entry product, whatever we agree that's going to be, it is roughly the same sort of sale in terms of it's going to the person that would buy 45 would actually pay 295. Now the person that would pay 295 might not yet pay 1,500. So this does solve your problem. But just quickly for everyone listening as well, those two price points are roughly the same. So whatever it is you choose, all right, it's got to be around those price points because they're going to convert pretty much the same sort of in your market anyway, around the same sort of thing. So let's say that we're coming up with now what we should offer that's between those two price points. If you're going to offer something between those two price points, it's got to be digital, obviously. All right. Now, I would recommend that one of the things that you said was a module or modules of the online training, which I assume is part of your 1,500. I would break down some of that stuff, whether you have to refilm it or I don't know how it's structured, or just pull some of them out, but definitely repackage it so it's a standalone. So it's not it's not just one piece of this big thing, because that won't convert as well. It has to be a standalone shiny thing. You've got to make that a product in itself. Okay, what I would do if it was me, if I had this big thing over here, I'd pull one lesson out of module 1, one lesson out of module 2, one lesson out of module 3, for example. All right, just to keep it simple, and I would then productize that as my first entry offer. So now let's say that you've got that. All right, because that's a bigger discussion anyway. Happy to continue it with you in the future. But let's say you've got that now. You've got this standalone product. So now what your funnel looks like is you've got this entry product, and then you've got your £1,500 coaching, all right, and the program there. What we need to fix this, to make this now a real strategy that we could scale, because we can't scale it until we've got this, is we do need the free thing at the front first. All right, we need to come up with that, because again, just like sending them straight to the £1,500, it has exactly the same effect if you send them straight to a £45. Whenever you're sending people straight to an offer, you can get very, very, very like a paying offer. You're going to get very, very, very low conversions. So we've got to come up with the thing that you offer to the marketplace that's free. Now, this could be your free challenge. Challenges effectively are lead magnets. A lead magnet, in the technical sense, is an irresistible bribe, all right, that gives a specific chunk of value to a prospect in exchange for their contact information. A lead magnet is an irresistible bribe that gives a specific chunk of content to a prospect in exchange for their contact information. We've got to come up with that thing for you, because all of the work that you do, both on social and when you start running ads, is going to be a lot more efficient once you've got this free thing. Now, although I mentioned a challenge could do well because you've already got it, I would recommend trying to create something that is more downloadable. right? So like a proper downloadable lead magnet, some sort of guide, some sort of template, some sort of cheat sheet, I don't know, right? But it's something that they can easily sink their teeth into, because these are going to convert the most. As long as it does this one thing, qualifies your audience. So you don't want one, for instance, on polo, because that might not potentially be your ideal demographic, your ideal client. You've got to make it specific to the people you want on it. All right. So equestrians, right? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You did.
Nailed
Well
it. So it's got to have that in the title, for instance, because you need to ask yourself this question: why would someone download this thing if they're not potentially interested in my 45 or 295 thing and or my coaching? Okay, so once you've then got that in place, you then just need to piece them together. So we've got our lead magnet that we offer first. All right, we can immediately on the thank you page now offer them the £45 to £295 thing. But let me tell you, it is going to convert very, very low. Which it always does, even for me, even for a lot of the big guys and the guys that have got really good offers and are really well known, it converts low because it's immediate purchase. You're taking someone that's potentially just seen you or just found you and you're saying, buy this thing. It's very, very hard to get an impulse buy from a stranger. Very hard. No matter what all the gurus will tell you, this is fact. So a big part of your strategy, Jenny, this is the big thing. This is your nugget to take away from this. What you now need to do is you now need to put into place a really good nurture sequence that gets people to know, like, and trust you. And in there, within that sequence, pepper the offer for the 45, or the 295, whatever it is, for the phone call, which obviously then leads into your 1500. You need to map this out. And this is the piece that makes you the money. You know, this is something that we do for clients. We actually do this for clients as well as helping them do it as well. This follow-up sequence. Let me give you an example. This is what it looked like. Hopefully everyone's getting value from this and they're picturing it in their head. It's really hard for me to paint pictures in other people's heads. Let's say Jenny's got a lead magnet, right? And you've been to a lead magnet. You just went to one with Rob, right? She's got that. And they opt in for this free thing. And immediately they're going to see an offer for her, you know, ABC product that she hasn't yet created, but that's going to be 45 quid, let's say. Now you are definitely going to get some people that do it. Let's keep the numbers simple. Let's say we have 100 people download the thing and we have one person that takes the 45. Your focus and energy now has to be on the 99. Okay. The 99 people that haven't yet purchased. Now, what you've got to do is you've got to think, right, how do I convert these people? And this is how you do it. And this is how everyone does it. The way you convert people and get people to buy from you is you need to increase the trust timer, the Jenny Winterleach trust timer that's in all of your prospects' heads. I want you all to imagine, I know some of you have heard me talk about this before, but I want you all to imagine that every prospect that listens to you, that's on your list, even customers, they've all got this trust timer. And this trust timer starts ticking the second that they see your ad. The second they see your ad and click on your ad, this timer starts from 0, it starts ticking. And at the moment, what happens is we send them to Jenny's lead magnet and they download it. And they see the next offer, but then they click away because they're not interested in the offer. They get an email from Jenny. They might read the lead magnet or they might not. But this roughly is going to take that trust timer up to about 10 minutes, max. 15 maybe, right? 10 to 15 minutes. Now, that needs to be hours to get someone to buy. Apart from the impulsive buyers, the majority of human beings, the trust timer needs to be in the hours. So what I want your focus to be, Jenny, is how do I get this trust timer ticking for all of these 99 prospects that haven't purchased yet? And it's really, really easy. You send them anything you can. You send them an email that tells them you're going live on Facebook. The email starts it ticking. The Facebook Live starts it ticking. You get them involved in your Facebook group, because guess what? When they're in the Facebook group, communicating, even posting in there, when you're not there, the timer is ticking because they are in your world. The trust timer increases. You might shoot a video on the fly, just walking around, or even trotting around, let's say. Trotting around. You might be trotting around and you shoot a video and you then host that on a site and you write an email to your list, do a post on your Facebook page, sending them to this video where you're just sharing some thoughts. The clock starts ticking. And the higher this clock gets, this is fact, the more likely that person is to buy. And then throughout this sequence, you constantly are peppering in reminders of offers that you've got running. So don't forget, the £45 blah, 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 blah is over here. You've still got time to go and grab it. Click here to go and grab it now. You're still peppering in these call to actions, these messages. If you're ready for a strategy call or a phone call with one of my team to talk about how we can help you achieve your goals, click here, go and book a call. These things are being peppered in. And different people out of that 99, 10 of those 99, the clock might only need to be half an hour. Got another 10 into a sales environment. Whether they buy or not, it's a different story, but you're getting them into a sales environment. Another 10 of those people might need an hour on that clock. But then once that hour reaches, they see an offer. Right, I'm ready now. I want to check this out and take this next step. All right. And this is a very, very big, important part of it, because the big problem that you'll be facing isn't because you haven't got that thing, that low price thing to sell. It's potentially because they're not the people that you're getting. First of all, you're not capturing on an email list, and then you're not nurturing and warming enough of those up so that they do buy when you've got something to sell. So what I would do is I would focus, my main funnel would look like this: lead magnet, low price thing, get in there anyway. And then obviously our back end coaching, which is we get them on the phone to sell our £1,500 thing or whatever. But then a big part of my focus now is going to be on how do I warm these people that I'm capturing up. Getting them into a Facebook group is a fantastic way to do it. Just emailing them, shooting videos every now and then, little mini series, free things that you're giving them that you're doing with the purpose of getting that clock ticking so that they eventually convert. Okay. Have you got any questions on that? Does any of that help?
That is amazing, thank you. And I think you've pinpointed, as I thought you might, the actual issue isn't necessarily whether I've got the low price product, because that bit I think will do some stuff but won't solve the issue. It's the nurturing. So I do bring them into a group, and actually, having said no, I don't have a lead magnet, I suddenly then remembered as you were talking I do have a lead magnet. What I did is I took the challenge, put it into a little video series and give that away for free for them. But I think it's too long. It's not downloadable and it's too long, so it's not converting at the rate I'd like it to. And then I go live all the time with the dog and with the horses and things, and Brilliant. They love that. And that actually has been the biggest thing I've done for trust, because people do then come and say, I love your lives, I really want your help now. So I think what you've pinpointed there is that actually I'm doing all the right things, but there's no nurturing, there's no cohesion between them all.
Well, based on what you've said there, if you're doing stuff like that, first of all, that's fantastic, because that's the stuff that gets, honestly, that is the stuff that gets people to convert. 100%.
Yeah.
But what another thing is, you just need more scale of people, those people, and the way to do that is to come up with a lead magnet that's going to get you qualified but cheap leads. And the best way to do that is to create something that, if you haven't already, it's downloadable, that's specific to your audience. Offer it for free. Like we've got free lead magnet campaigns running now for ourselves, which are averaging about £2.50. So across all three of them, we're averaging about £2.50 a lead. But these are good leads. They're businesses that obviously are interested in marketing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be downloading the lead magnets that we're offering. And they're £2.50. So if I'm spending £1,000, roughly, I'm getting about 500 people on my list. Those 500 people, first of all, lots of them immediately, because of the way we've set it up, like I just told you to, are booking calls, buying stuff. But then more importantly, loads of people now are joining our Facebook groups. They're coming in. They're being nurtured through what we've built because we've got a good inflow of them coming in. You've got that set up because you're doing your lives. You just need more people to do it too. So a really good thing that I think you could use is a good, well-performing. I reckon in your market, to be honest, I reckon you could get dirt cheap leads. You know, mine's very, very competitive. You know, very, very competitive. Mine's competitive as shit. One of the most competitive. I'm targeting businesses. You know, it's tough. And we still get cheap leads. I reckon we've got a client that does, what's it called? Like trauma therapy, right? From people that have been in narcissistic relationships. Oh, what's her name? I can't remember her name now. I hope she's not listening. And anyway, she's getting leads for like 30 pence. And she is making a fortune. Like her ROI is ridiculous. She's making really, really good returns because her market is just the people that she's going after and the message that she's got, just like yours. There's not much competition there, you know. And I reckon it could be the same for you. So, for instance, by the time you spent £1,000, you could have like 4,000 people on your list. You know, and those 4,000 people are now being nurtured. They're seeing stuff from you, and the relationship's being built, and hopefully you convert them. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, you know, feel free to reach out whenever you want, Jenny, and we can help you in a bit more detail.
Thanks,
awesome stuff. Was that mega? Was that? I'm not even going to say was that mega valuable. How valuable was that for you, Jenny?
The words I'm going to use is mega, actually, Joe.
There you go.
That was brilliant. Laser focus there.
It's the same sort of thing, like everyone listening to that as well, you know, that the little process that I went through. I didn't have, normally I'm writing furiously and drawing this out, so I was doing it all with my hands. Ashley was laughing because I'm doing it all with my hands here, like a mime. Is that mine? Yeah. But it's the same process you guys need to go through. You know, a lot of the time it's easy to work backwards. Like Jenny had a £1,500 thing. You've got to work backwards from the thing that you've got. Now, you might not have that thing yet. You might not have that back end thing yet. You might just have one thing that's 500 quid. That's fine. Same rules apply. Work back from that and see how you can get it. The biggest thing that you've got to remember is that you should always try, if you can, to capture a lead first. Whether you're paying, especially if you're paying, actually. If you're paying, it's like a must. If you're paying for ads, it's crazy for you not to first offer something for free because you'll just waste so much of the potential money you could earn later on down the line by only offering to the buyers, not the potential buyers. All right. But if you're doing, even when you're doing organic stuff, you know, you're spending time on Clubhouse, Instagram lives and driving people organically from where you've got an audience, it's amazing how many of those people will convert into a subscriber if you first have that thing. One of the things that we help people do in our game plan calls, our funnel game plan calls that we do at Einstein Marketer, is come up with the actual lead magnet idea, come up with the next thing, just like we did for Jenny, but obviously in a bit more detail. And we map it out using a piece of software that we've got. And we then send that to the person. We can then tell that person what we've got, to either that they can do it themselves, which is, you know, low price stuff that we've got, how we can help them do it, or how we can do it for them. And we've got all of that. Or they just go away and do it themselves, following the map that we've laid out. All right. So if any of you guys that are listening do want that, if you want a funnel game plan call for this year, then you can I'd prefer it if you just send me a message on Instagram. It's not automated. I haven't got it automated or anything like that. So apologies if it takes me a few hours to get back to you. But if you just send me a message on there saying funnel or something like that, just so that I know you've come from Clubhouse even, right? Just so that I know you've come there, I'll try to connect with you. And if I think it's a good fit, I could set you up with a free funnel game plan call where we could do this with one of my team, depending on your industry and your market and all that. You know, what it'll do is it'll finally, right, you know, it's the 4th of January now, right at the start of the year, you know, start it with at least a plan in place. You don't have to use our help. It'd be great if you did, but you don't have to. But at least if you've got that plan on the 4th of January, how great would that be to know, right, this is my game plan. This is what I need to create, whether I'm doing it for myself or with Einstein. Now I can go away and do it. You know, don't wait and say, "Oh, I'll do this next month, do this the month after." January the 4th is the perfect time to do it. So if any of you guys do want an opportunity to get that call, loads of people in this room, by the way, have done that, and they got so much value from it. Go to Instagram. You can send me a message in my back channel if you have to, but I'd prefer it on Instagram. Just go to my Instagram and just send me a message saying, funnel or clubhouse or something like that, and I'll try and get back to you later today if I can.
Awesome stuff. Well, that has been about 27 minutes. We answered one person's question and we've run out of time for today. So I think what we'll do next Tuesday, your marketing problem solved, whole thing, hot seat.
Yeah, let's do hot seats, the whole thing.
Hot seat Tuesday. I mean, it doesn't rhyme phonetically. It's a nightmare.
I'll go into detail with each one because everyone listening, it's going to be the 100%. Same. So I'm talking to everyone as well as that one person.
I'm sitting there thinking that how that works in so many different angles.
Yeah. Awesome and once you've got it mapped out, man, it's just it becomes so fun. Once you've got that thing in place, it's like, right, okay, great. How do I drive more people to this thing that I've got in place now, this funnel? How do I get more people there? Do I pay for it, or do I just finally I've got something somewhere to send all my organic audience? On Clubhouse, I can now send them to it, and it just becomes cool. You can map out your thing. We built a funnel for Catherine Morgan. We had Catherine Morgan on the show. You guys had her on the show for a book launch. That's right. So we built a book funnel. It will do 6 figures this month. Bearing in mind, we only launched it in, when was it? The 14th of December or whenever. But it will do 6, but by the end of this month, it will be at 6 figures. We've built her 2 funnels now, but that was a book funnel. So books are fantastic because a book effectively can be a lead magnet as well, right? And, all Rob Moore's funnels, we do all of those guys' funnels. And once we're in place, it's just fun to be able to see the stats. So like with Catherine, the reason I brought her up is because once some traffic's gone through there now, we can see, we're like, okay, cool. So the book, the first thing that we're offering, which is a free plus shipping book, we're first of all getting just the email so that even if they bail, this is how integrate you can get, right? Because you think, right, send them to an offer. Although it's free, they've still got to pay shipping. Loads of people are going to bail. Okay, so let's first have the first step of that just be a name and an email. So then if they bail, which about 60% of them aren't checking out, we can put them into a follow-up series, what I call a cart abandon series, which basically follows up with the people that haven't completed the purchase. I can see you started an order for this free book. I've got it ready to post to you, but you haven't completed your order yet. Click here to go back to the checkout. Because we've led with that first, we can go back and we can see how many people are then taking the first offer, how many people are taking her next offer, which is £47, sorry. How many people are taking her next offer, which is $197. But the whole part of her strategy, this is when her overall strategy comes into it. You're never going to build a business just giving away a book. What she does is she does workshops, retreats and all this. So what we did very sneakily is we said, right, okay, let's use this as an opportunity. If we're going to sell it, she's just sold over 1,000 books through the funnel, not from Amazon. This is just from the funnel, just gone over 1,000. Those 1,000 books go out. They're going to have that in their hand. That's coming through the letterbox. Why don't we put a free ticket to a workshop that we're going to do just for the book buyers in that book that they don't know about until they get it, that they can go and register for, and then we'll get hundreds of people on this workshop that you can then deliver value to all day and then make an offer for something high ticket like 500 quid, £1,000.
Yeah, nice.
And now 1,000 people have got a ticket to this thing and they're going to go and register for this event. So the back end part of that strategy is really that. We're leading with a book, but the real reason is because we wanted to get them on the workshop so that they can come on the workshop, get loads of value from Catherine and then be made an offer to do that.
Awesome stuff. Well, we are back officially with a bang party, people. Hope you've enjoyed today. It's been great to be back. It was nice to have a little break, but it's nicer to be back. I've just pinned a link at the top of the room. If you were at our event, I was going to say EMC, but it wasn't that event. If you're at Tim's Story live in London tonight, we are going to premiere the video of what happened when the Winners Club met and we brought Tim's Story live to London. We've got a fantastic little 7-minute video which really captures the essence of the community, the day itself, the event itself. It's brilliantly put together. It's going to go live at 7 o'clock. We're going to premiere it on YouTube. If you click onto the link at the top of the room right now, then you can subscribe to the channel and then you'll get emailed or notified when the video goes live. It's going to go live at 7 p.m. UK time this evening, but click the link at the top of the room right now and then you can subscribe to the channel, and then you will get notified when the video goes live at 7 p.m. tonight. What happened when the Winners Club all got together for the first time for the first ever official Winners Club event, and we brought in Tim's story live to London. So other than that, cheers for ears. Great first day back, gang. You know, great effort from you, Matty Wilson, especially. Shipman's been here. You know, I'll give him
Shipman's
that.
Been spot on.
He's been here more than Apple Crumble, who I don't know where he's been, frankly.
I had to FaceTime the kids before they went back to their first day at school.
Oh, that's good. Well, that makes me a shit dad, because I didn't. Sally just tried to phone me. I just buttoned. I was like, no, do Clubhouse, kids. Christmas is over. Dad's gone back to work. But anyway, cheers for your ears as always. We'll be back as always at 6:30 a.m. We're back tomorrow. Rob Moore is live in the studio tomorrow as well with his second day of. Are you yawning, Shipman? First day. Just hit the button. Hit the goddamn button. We're having words. Bye, everybody. Have a lovely day. Ta-da.